Welcome you guys back into my next video here. I understand every single day you guys focus on your nice beautiful communicational skills every single day. You're going to focus upon understanding how to grow. You're going to understand every single day that what you need to do daily is help people grow. You have to understand every single day it's more about helping others achieve success. So when you're doing that daily, you're going to understand that many people never care about you, and many people never want to be around you, and many people never even want to follow you. You understand? And why is that? I realize it's because of their arrogance. I realize people are very arrogant about following your success. You understand? Because they are very negative. So what they do is they follow negative people. You understand? So what you have to do is become more successful anyway. You have to be more successful regardless of who is around you. And you have to understand to stop wasting time. You have to understand that people around you have either value or they have no value. You understand? I realize now everybody has value. You have to understand everybody has value to a certain degree. But if you understand me now, that if you go and talk with yourself over them, you have even more value. You understand? I'll promise you now, what do I mean? I mean, if you choose to talk to just you today over other people, you will always benefit because other people can never give you the communicational skills that you can. You understand? I'll promise you now, if you're looking for somebody to talk with you on a daily basis who's going to be very positive with you, you have to look at yourself first. You have to understand that individual is you. You have to understand that anybody who's going to talk to you the best today is you. I promise you, although you never try to seek communication from other people, you try to seek it from yourself now. You understand? I understand that what's important is Jesus Christ must have a great communicational skill with Jesus Christ in order for himself to lead other people. You understand? Now, if you understand what leading other people is, you understand it's a great mindset. You understand it's a mindset that reads more. You understand it's a mindset that helps more. You understand it's a mindset that does more. You understand? And now you have to understand, you have to understand that what's important in here is recognizing that every single day you do some communicational work in front of a camera, or you do it in front of an audio, or you do it in writing. You are going to benefit in the long term. I'm pushing now, long term is the game in life. I'm pushing now, anybody who's short term is anybody who never ever writes a journal, and anybody who never does a video or never does social media and is always private and behind the scenes and never wants to go public. I'm pushing now, if you go public today in social media, you have an opportunity here to make sure that everybody can follow you. And now when people follow you, you then are somebody in the field of this world. I promise you, although anybody that you've never even seen in life, I promise you, they're behind the scenes. You understand? But what you need to recognize right now is you need to be in the spotlight faster today than ever before. So the best way today to become the spotlight is to go on social media today and to start your YouTube channel and social media profiles, and then go and help people as much as possible. I promise you now, that's your opportunity. I promise you, your opportunity is communicational skills with other people online. I promise you, although you have to go and approach people, you also have to understand that either way, that when I do my work, for example, I make sure I never approach people online. But what I do is I approach you online through my social media in terms of my YouTube channel and also my Instagram and also my Mega Drive. And that's where I work only. I never go personally messaging people online. And why is that? Because I have a better way to grow for myself, which is journaling with myself all day long, or doing a video like this, or just traveling around and doing my Mega Drive. And now when I do that, I do some music production on the side, but I make sure I'm enjoying my life. And now throughout life, you're going to understand that what's going to happen is you're going to be more alone throughout time. And that's a great thing. Now, to be alone is great, but to be with other people all the time is chaos. Now, why is being with other people chaos? You have to understand, because when you're with other people, you then have to rely on them to see them and to go to them, and they never come to see you. You have to understand, although what's amazing is if you recognize to be alone and let them come to see you, you then understand Jesus Christ. You then understand the world around you. Now, what's amazing is my success is tenfold and more. I promise you, although nobody else cares about that. I promise you, nobody else cares about my success except I. I promise you, nobody else is trying to succeed for I. Understand? So what's happening today is nobody else is trying to walk my shoes as well. I promise you every single day I focus upon understanding that I have to travel the world as fast as I can, but I understand every single day that I try to save time and money in the process. And now, how do I save time and money in the process? I make sure I have a financial calendar where I write how many years I've saved, or else I make sure I write how many days and years and minutes and hours and weeks and months I've been saving throughout time by making decisions, by saying, hey, I'll never go here, I never go here, I never do this again, I never do this again. I won't walk, or I'll never go to the shops today because I saved 1 hour of my life. I mean, what's the point of me going to the shop today when I have food already? I mean, I saved 1 hour of my life right there. Because what's the point of walking there 30 minutes and back? I understand? So what's amazing is understand that if I do that as well, I save $30 by taxi or Uber as well. So that's ways I save money, for example. And then I write it in my financial, I write it inside of my financial input. And I say $30 I save because I never went here, for example. I just make this vocabulary of finances inside my financial input. And then I make sure to understand, to check it weekly and check it monthly and check it yearly to see how my numbers going. Because I want that nice, beautiful time increase. I want that nice, beautiful financial increase. So I want to make sure that I'm always growing my communicational skills because that's the number one way to increase time and money in your life. Now, if you understand how to communicate, you can rule the world. But if you understand anything else, you have to understand Jesus Christ. You have to understand every single day, focus on understanding that those who are communicating more today than ever before are the ones enjoying life more. You have to be somebody who's really, really doing life much better than yesterday to understand how to live much better than yesterday. Actually, it's all about making sure that you're really, really pronouncing yourself much better than everybody else, because when you're doing that, you have better communicational skills. So that's a practice. You have to be practicing communicational skills daily. You have to be doing something in your life today that's going to help you move forward. And now, when you're doing that, you have to be traveling along the way. You have to understand to see new scenery, but then you have to walk physically less over time. You have to understand what is amazing. What is amazing is being able to travel spiritually much more than physically. But understand now that you're going to find yourself alone throughout life. And now that's a great thing. I'm alone as well. But what's amazing is you never need other people. You never need a kid. You never need a wife. You never need a spouse. You never need to be in a marriage with other people. You understand? You just marry yourself. You are your own kid. You are everything toward your life. You love yourself regardless of what's going on with you. You understand? If you're better than yesterday, but other people are going for other people instead of you, it talks big about you. I understand? I mean, if the drug addicts can get a woman or a man, but you are better than yesterday and sober, they're never chasing you, but they're chasing drug addicts. You deserve better. You understand? You deserve a better life. Now, if you understand that, now what's amazing is if somebody wants to be in your life, they'll come into your life. If they never want to be in your life, you have everything already. What's amazing is if you're better than yesterday and nobody wants to chase you, you are amazing. You understand? Because every single day, focus upon understanding that those people who are worse than yesterday are chasing other people. And those people who are better than yesterday are never chasing other people. You understand? You never chase other people for anything. You understand? But you go to them to help them only. You never try to get from them anything. You try to help them move forward. You understand? Because that's how you move forward, or else that's how you really understand communicational lives, and that's how you really understand anything in life. So when you're going throughout your life, you have to understand questions is the best way to answer everything. So when you're asking questions, you're going to understand how to answer. You have to understand every single day, focus upon understanding that the word I is your answer for everything. Now, everything that happens in the world is for the word I. You understand? Every single day you focus upon understanding that when you're really lifting people, you're going to focus and find the best times to do your videos and to do anything around you that's going to help you to move forward. I realize now every single day I try to go and really, really dwell upon my communicational skills daily so that I can become somebody much more. But I have something to do every single day. And I have a business. I have a nice, beautiful integrity. I am holding my nice, beautiful truth in Jesus Christ. I'm following Jesus Christ every single day. I'm focusing on better information. I'm focusing on the best information. I'm focusing on all information. I mean, understand? So, all right, so anything that's going to help me to move forward is what I focus on. Now, throughout your day, you have to understand that what's important is talk to yourself more than other people. All right, now, if you're always trying to talk to other people, they're wasting your time most of the time. They're always wasting your time most of the time. I mean, every single day, focus on just you, and you'll never waste your time. I promise you, with you alone, you never waste time. Now, if you're with other people, I promise you, they just waste your time because they're unaware. I mean, they're unaware that they're doing it. So what you need to do is focus on better communicational skills with yourself daily, because that's what's going to motivate you throughout life to live longer and live a greater life and live a more spiritual life and have more. I mean, you're going to have more money and more finances when you're communicating more with yourself only. Now, if I see, for example, hostile people or anybody around me, I try to just go away from them. Yes, I try to go away from them because if they have any value to give me, they'll come up to me first. I mean, understand? Because that's how it is. Now, if you understand that what's amazing is I give my business card to those people who approach me only. Now, why is that? Because I already sell them on something when they come up to me first. Now, if you come up to me first, you have already this huge curiousness about me. So what do? I just give you my business card as well. Now, that's it. You already grab it and you go. Now, if I have to come up to you and try to sell you upon giving you my business card, you may say no. Understand? But if you come up to me, you understand? And then you're just talking to me, I just give you my business card, but it's mostly a yes. You understand? But if I come up to you and I try to sell you on something for free, now you may say no half the time. You understand? But there's a greater chance that you may say yes if you just approach me first. I mean, in a sense, so if a woman or man wants to be in your life, I promise you let them come to you because that's already a selling point and you've already done the work like that. I mean, you no longer have to sell yourself here. You have to sell yourself all the time, but what the difference is, or else they're more interested in you than you are in them because they approach you first. Now, when people approach you first, you already have them in your vocabulary. You're already somebody in their field. You understand? They're already watching you, or else they're following you because they're messaging you all the time. In a sense, so when they're messaging you all the time, you just never reply to them. You understand? Because what's amazing is you never need to talk to other people online. You understand? You focus on yourself. And now they may get negative about you never replying to them. But that's them and never you. You understand? Now, if you talk to me and you send me 1 billion messages, but I never reply, I'm still better than yesterday though. I mean, what's the deal? I mean, I'm busy. I have something better to do than reply to you. But I'm never busy, I'm just productive. I have my word I only. So what's amazing is I'd rather talk to I than you. I mean, understand why I reject you. I never need to talk to you. You understand? You may have to talk to me. I never need to talk to you. I mean, that means I have more value. You understand? Now, every single day, focus on understanding that those people who never reply to you, I mean, guess what you do? You make sure you're growing in the process. Now, whatever somebody else is trying to do to you, you must be able to grow from it. You must be able to go and overcome your anxiety and mental health issues and also your adversity and your circumstance right now with better communicational skills. You have to talk it much better. You have to understand that if you really want something, you talk it into you. You understand? You have to talk it up every single day. You're going to say, I'm achieving this. I just went here. I'm going here. I mean, you're going there, you follow through. You understand? Because when you because when you follow through with anything that you say, that's the communicational skills I'm talking about. I'm talking about something that you want to do, you're going to achieve it. But to get there, you have to go and talk it out. You have to say, I have to go, man. I have to go. You're going to be talking with yourself and you're going to say, I have to go right now. I have to go. I mean, come on, Danny. I mean, get your stuff. I mean, go over there. I mean, have a shower. I mean, go in groom, and then what are we doing? I mean, we have to go to the city. I mean, I want you to see the city. I want you to go to the coastline today. I mean, what's happening here? I'm talking with myself, but I want to go here. I want to go here. I want to have a shower. Understand? I'm motivating myself to go. I mean, nobody else is going to motivate you. Understand? So what you do is realize you're the only motivation in your life. You're the only inspiration in your life. I mean, that's it. I mean, every single day, focus upon that and then understand. to never rely on me or anybody else to live life. You understand? You have to rely on you only. You only have to rely on you. You understand? Now, if you understand that, the whole deal of life is understanding to have more information, but you be your sole motivation. You be the most inspiration in your life. Understand? Because that way you're going to learn how to grow. But then guess what happens? Every single day you go around life, you're going to understand that you're going to meet new people, you're going to go to new places, you're going to see new aspects of life. But what's amazing is go and really, really travel the most you can, because time is always young. Time is always now. I understand all that what's amazing is you're forever young. You're always going to be forever young, so focus on understanding that there's always better ways to communicate, and there's always better ways to do life, and there's always a better way to make sure that you're doing your work. Now, if you're doing your work and you're doing it much better than yesterday, just focus on that, and then you made it. You made it better. So for example, with my music production, approximately 1 year ago, I had a lot of work to do to even get to this point. Now, 1 year later, now I'm 50,000 times much better than yesterday. I'm more than yesterday in everything that I do. I'm 50,000 times much better and more in music production than ever before. I'm much better overall than yesterday, because that's the whole point of your life. The whole point of your life is understanding that those people you grew up with are never following you, and they're never going to be around you. And your biological parents are never going to be around you. Your friends that you grew up with are never going to be around you growing up. You understand? Because the next 72 years, I promise you, they're getting into marriages. I promise you, they're going away. I promise you, they're changing countries. I promise you, they're leaving you. But what's going to happen is you're going to be alone, baby. You're going to be alone, and then you're going to understand what life is. Life is being alone. Because if I have to come to you, it means that I have to help you. And now the whole deal for you to never be alone is to get around people much more, and get around a community or a crowd and start to lead them with communicational skills more and more. So that's what you need to do over time, much more, because otherwise you just be alone then. Understand? But what you do is you never rely on other people to be with you. You go to other people to help them. Understand? Now, if you want somebody in your life, you have to go to them to help them grow, and that's it. Is that plain and simple? Now, if you understand that if you want a wife and kid or husband and kid or anything, you have to talk it out of you. You have to be deserving of that. You understand? I need you to understand that if you want that, you have to talk it. You have to plan it. You have to be able to understand that what's going to happen ahead of time is you're going to plan everything in your life before it happens. Understand? So in 30 years from now, I want you to really understand that you're going to be around 50 years of age, but from 50 to 51, you're going to have a plan on how to live at that age already, before you even get there. You understand? So let's say you're 25, but you're already planning your life ahead, and you already see what you're going to do your whole life. That's your purpose. You understand? That's a greater purpose, that when you see what you're going to do in terms of everything you're going to do, and you have a clear pathway to success, that's the best way. You understand? Because my pathway, already, I can see it. I can see it's social media. I can see it's just do better than yesterday. I realize it's more communicational work, and it's that. My pathway is just be better than yesterday. Now, there's a whole bunch of range of what I do every single day to make sure that I'm doing better than yesterday. I communicate. I make sure I look better. I make sure I'm doing fashion modeling. I make sure I'm doing social media. I'm making sure I'm increasing my passions. I'm making sure I'm doing my music production. I'm doing that forever. Understand? So you have to understand that what's happening ahead of you right now is understand that you must go and get yourself all the nice, beautiful master degrees that you can. Understand? Because why? Because information is going to help you. Information alone is going to help you. So what you do is realize, now, understand, I have to go and get my own master's degree as well, with psychology and social studies and bachelor degree and social worker. I understand either way that what's amazing is nobody else is going to come give me money or anything in terms of life so that I can live my life. Understand? Now, what's amazing is long term, I have a master's degree or PhD in psychology, and that's it. Now, what I do is I open a shop locally or wherever, and then guess what? I live my life and I enjoy myself and my $100,000 per year. You understand? I enjoy myself. Guess what? I work in the community, but guess what? I'm doing these life coaching videos every single day on the side. In a sense, so I have 20,000 videos online, but I'm a psychologist in a local area in Sydney. I have 20,000 videos online though, with 20,000 hours of videos. But guess what? I'm still a psychologist. You understand? I'm a psychologist regardless of the stupid 9 to 5 or not. I mean, understand? I'm still a psychologist right now. I'm a psychologist. You understand? I'm a philosopher. I'm somebody of a philanthropist. I'm a philanthropist by trade. I'm giving you knowledge, and that's a philanthropist. I promise you, anything that's helping you daily is a philanthropist or an entrepreneur or somebody of a leadership skills. I promise you, that's what I do. So what do? I make sure I get my education. I go and get the social worker degree and the psychology degree. So first, realize that if you're working as a social worker, you then can increase your studies to become a psychologist from that point. You understand? So get yourself a social worker degree and also a master's degree. You understand? Because that's what I'm doing. Because guess what? You still have to communicate regardless of what you do. I mean, you have to understand that what's amazing about social worker and psychology is, or else it's government work, so you're always safe throughout time. But then guess what? You have to choose the 9 to 5. You have to choose to work 9 to 5, but then choose to work 24/7 on yourself. I mean, understand? Because 9 to 5 work is only 8 hours of work. But then what you do is realize now that people never want to waste your time if you never waste your time. I mean, I'm never wasting my time, so never choose to waste your time. I mean, understand that if somebody's trying to waste your time, you get away from them, and then understand that the single road is the best road. Or the single road is the best road. I mean, just remember that. I mean, if you're single, if you're single, you're doing much better than those people who have kids. I promise you. And now why is that? Because those people who have kids are never doing it Jesus Christ way. You understand? I mean, how is that possible? I mean, guess what? I mean, Jesus Christ never has kids. I mean, guess what? I mean, Jesus Christ is the best way. I mean, Jesus Christ is single. So if you're single today, you're going to succeed in your career and your legacy far more than those people who have a family. You understand? I promise you. And why is that? Because you're devoting all of your time toward you only, and never to your wife or husband or kids. I mean, you understand? So what's amazing is you're going to have more financing too, because you're single. I mean, you have no kids. I mean, for each kid you have to give them $20,000 a year. You understand? I mean, guess what? I mean, what's amazing is understand that first you have to get the self-education you need to be able to go and muster up all this nice, beautiful financing in your life, and then have a great life first, and then have kids. It's only 10 years away. Now, your whole lifetime ahead is learning and growing yourself to become the best version of yourself. I mean, is that plain and simple? Now, what you need to do is you need to learn how to coach people. You have to learn how to manage people. You have to learn how to lead people every single day. So what I do daily is I go do busking performances in front of people so that I can increase my public speaking skills. But then what I do every single day is I do these videos to catch up on my content so that I can go and improve my communicational skills, because I have to plan my life. I have to see my life forward. I have to coach you about something so that I can learn something myself. I have to learn something from the communicational skills that I'm giving you right now. I have to speak for another 3 hours of this video in different ways. So I have a 1 hour video here, and then another hour video, and then another hour video. But I make sure that I break it up from now on and upload only 1 hour videos online, because that way more people can watch it, and that way I can also upload it faster. I mean, understand? Right, now what's amazing is understand that if you're doing 3 hour videos in hostels or something, I mean, at 1 hour 30 minutes, I promise you somebody can come in to the hostel and then I have to pause it, for example. I mean, guess what? Or is that they may come in now, for example, because I'm at a hostel right now. And now why do I travel around hostels? Because it's affordable, or it's because it's affordable, but I understand either way that I'm going across Australia and I'm doing my best. I mean, in a sense, so every single day focus on understanding that it's what I say that goes. Now, when I really say something, I do it. Or actually, it's what I do that matters even more than what I say. I promise you now that if you're always saying that you're doing it, but you're never doing it, or now you have to do it. You understand? Every single day, focus on understanding to connect your words together with your doing. And now that's really integrity, and that's what integrity in terms of leadership is. Now, every single day, focus on understanding that whatever you need today is yourself the most. So focus upon understanding on how to help people achieve the greatest life possible, because I have such strong communicational skills that's positive that I never kill myself. I have such strong communicational skills that I'm growing all the time, and nothing can stop me growing. Now, nothing can stop me growing and achieving the success I deserve. Nothing can stop me from traveling the world. Do you understand? Nothing can stop me from going everywhere across the world. Nothing can stop me from going anywhere across the world right now. Why? Guess what? Because I'm communicating my daily progress. I'm communicating to you how I am living day to day, every single day, and I'm also coaching you every single 24 hours. I'm posting a video online of up to 1 hour or more to make sure that I teach you, but I do the most I can every single day. I make sure I find the best places to succeed daily and to see everything in one day, or to do everything in one day is the best. You understand? Now, every single day, focus on trying to do the most you can daily. It's that simple. It's so simple to understand that what you need to realize is if you are poor or in poverty right now, or in middle class or rich, you have to understand that what's amazing is focusing upon your life to understand how it grows. Now, if you're growing, you have to understand, you have to have all the spectrums of life. You have to be in poverty, you have to be in poorness, you have to be in middle class, you have to be in rich, and you have to be in ultra rich. Now, I've been in all the calendars. Now, understand that I have been in poverty, I have been in poorness, I've been in middle class, I've been in the rich, I've been in ultra rich. Now, what is ultra rich? Now, ultra rich is when you travel the world only, and you never stop to live somewhere. Understand? You're just traveling. So I'm here at Port Macquarie, but I'll go to Coffs Harbour one day, and then from one day onwards, I'll be in Coffs Harbour for 2 days, and then I go to Early Beach. That's the ultra rich. Understand? Because we're never living anywhere specifically, but we're just traveling and living everywhere. Understand? Or we're living around the world instead of just one spot. Now the ultra rich, for example, stay in Sydney, for example, which is the main city. Why? Because they have a beach over there. Now anywhere there's a coastline, anywhere in terms of life where there is a coastline is where the rich people live. Understand? There's a beach there, and they sit there and they give $5 billion to sit there in one image to have the beach lifestyle. Understand? And they're always living in one area. That's what the rich is. You understand? I'm ultra rich. I'm traveling everywhere. I realize that $10 million you give for the house, I use that money to travel the world. You understand? I'd rather travel the world than live in one image of my life. I'd rather see all the images of the world. You understand? Why do you need to go and live next to a beach and give $10 million on a mortgage rate to call yourself rich? You understand? Because anybody who has a mortgage rate today, you have to understand that they are also on the beach. What's a mortgage rate? A mortgage rate is something that where you go to the bank to get yourself some money to get a real estate loan. You understand? And then you have to give back the money to get the real estate, and also to own the real estate and to live in that area. You understand? And then people spend 50 years of their life working for one real estate. You never do that. You never work for real estate. You never work a 9-to-5 job to repay the bank. You understand? What you do is realize you get real estate to work for you. You get other people's money to work for you. You understand? You make sure you're always trying to use other people's money to succeed. Guess what? That's the best way. Now, the best way is understanding that if you just communicate more, you have everything. You understand? Now, every single day, focus on giving people ideas the best you can so that you can go and succeed and prosper the best you can. Now, if you understand how to travel the world, you then understand life. You understand? Now, anybody who's living in the middle class range is living in the yellow areas of life. Now, where do the yellow areas of life are? Now, if you look at Belgrade, Serbia, now, why is it a yellow color? Because it's a yellow color because it has no beach. Now, what are the yellow colors of life? Paris, Paris, France. It's a yellow color because it has no beach there. Now, Frankfurt, Germany is a yellow color because there's no beach there, but it's a big city. You understand? Now, those areas that are yellow colors are big cities with no beach, but very popular. You understand? So what you do is realize now the red colors of life are anything in life where it's a danger zone. Whereas now I went to Ayers Rock, and over there I have to drive 8 hours, and there's no Wi-Fi signal, and it's in the middle of nowhere. I understand. So if you have no petrol and you stop there, whereas now the signal is very poor to even call anybody. You understand? That's a red zone. So if you understand Ayers Rock in Alice Springs is the red color. Understand? And then you have Blue Mountains, for example, in terms of the Australian Blue Mountains. So if you go there, otherwise there's low Wi-Fi signal and there's no signal to call anybody. Understand? So also Mount Kosciuszko or any type of mountains like Mount Everest, where you have to walk up alone to the top of the mountain, and it's like 3 kilometer walk or something like that, and you have to go into the snow by yourself. Or that's a red zone. Or that's a red zone. Or that's a red color. So anything that's a red color is a mountain or a tourist attraction where it's, let's say, something dangerous, where you can get lost or you can be in the middle of nowhere and lose yourself in the process. I mean, understand? And you can die readily. You understand? I mean, something can happen at the mountains and a snake can bite you, and then guess what? I mean, where's the ambulance? I mean, understand? I mean, that's a red color. You understand? Anyway, a green color in life, in terms of tourism, is anything that's a farmland or anything where there's a small town with history, but there's a lot of green around, and there's a lot of trees and grass, and there's a waterfall as well. Now, those are the green lands. Now, an orange color is something that is suburban, where it's out of the city, but it's a small town with construction. I mean, there's no beach there. I mean, there's swimming pools. I mean, there's a government school. I mean, there's shopping centers, and it's just out of the main city. So, for example, when you see Sydney, you see blue colors in there. You see blue colors because there is beach. Understand? Because when you go around beaches, you see blue colors. Whereas now, what's the difference between Early Beach and Lismore, for example? Whereas now, Lismore is a yellow color only, because that one there is a main city of Australia and one of the popular ones, but you maybe never heard of Lismore, for example, but it's something to see if you're living in Australia, you understand? But that's a yellow color, you understand? But what is an orange color, for example? I mean, an orange color in Sydney, Australia, or anywhere across the world is just out of the city. For example, let's say Cabramatta, which is where I grew up in, is an orange area where it's all middle class people. So orange colors is middle class people. But then if you understand the colors of tourism, you have to understand blue is the best color to travel to, which is all the beaches of the world. I mean, stick to the coastlines when you're traveling the world. I mean, go to all the blue colors of the world first, and then go to the yellow colors. First, now the yellow colors are like Paris and Frankfurt, and there's also, for example, Las Vegas is a yellow color because it's in the middle of a desert, but it's a main city of America, and it's something to see. And there's also Belgrade, for example, you understand? Now, those colors are something to see, but also Moscow is something of a yellow color, you understand? Russia now, you have to understand Moscow in terms of Russia is a yellow color because there's no beach there, you understand? But then what happens is, you then really, just realize that there is also a white color. I mean, white colors are also something where there is snow, for example, or else there's snow, and that's also a red color as well. I mean, now, white colors are differing sometimes between red and, white colors are just white colors. So let's just stick to white color. I mean, white color is anything that's Antarctica, where there's snow, or let's say Russia in winter, where it's all snowy there, and then Frankfurt, Germany, and Germany in terms of life, where it's all snowing there, and Europe, where it's in Europe, you can find snow there. That's all white colors as well. But that's when it's white season, you understand? Now, understand the seasons of when the snow comes. You understand? Now, guess what? Now, when you're going throughout life, you have to focus upon understanding that you go to the blue colors first, which is all the beaches, and then the yellow colors. And then what's important is go to the red colors. Now, the red colors from that point is anything that's dangerous, but go with a tour guide. I mean, make sure that somebody else is driving you there, or go with other people there. So, for example, if you're going Ayers Rock, get a tour bus there to go. Now, if you're going to Mount Everest and walking Mount Everest, go with people to go there. You understand? Because never be alone. Never be alone going to red areas because you may die. Literally. But it's a tourist attraction. You understand? Those are red colors. So go blue, and then yellow, and then red. Whereas from that point, you have to understand that what's important is the orange colors are never that important. You understand? Now, why is that? Because or else the neighborhoods, or else there's a school there and a shopping center. That's it. That's all you see in those areas. There's nothing to see there. It's all real estate, and there's houses and neighborhoods. around schools and pools and that's unfortunately there's nothing else to see there. Unfortunately, those are the middle class range of people, and either way, middle class people live in orange areas, and rich people live in the yellow areas and also in the blue areas. You understand? Now, if you understand, for example, poor people live in the green areas of life, where it's farmland. They live on farmland and greenland, and those are the poor people. But the poverty people, anything that's poverty today is living in the red zone, and it's very dangerous. Now, if you look at Africa, for example, or Asia or something like that, where it's poor water, they're drinking poor water. That's a red zone to live in. It's a red color. You understand? Now, if you understand that, they have to walk 10 kilometers to get food and drink. They have to walk there. They have no car. That's a red zone. It's a red color. You have to understand that some lion or something or a tiger can come and see them from that point. You understand? Now, if it's a dangerous zone around you, it's a red color. You understand? Now, never live in the red colors of life. Now, what's the red color? Look at Alice Springs, Australia. Never live there. You understand? Yes, it's a city. Yes, it's a yellow color too. Now, Alice Springs is yellow color. But then if you look at Ayers Rock, and if you go to Ayers Rockway, for example, and you live around Ayers Rock, there's a little neighborhood there. You understand? Now over there's a little bit of hostels and stuff like that, but there's one gas station. There's one gas station. One gas station. One gas station. What's a gas station? A petrol station. You understand? Rarely any food around. One restaurant and that's it. That is a red zone. Why? Because there's less people there. You understand? So what I do is understand that I never live in the green areas of life, and I never live in the orange areas. I never go where orange is. I never go where green is. You understand? When I look at green colors or orange colors around life, orange colors to me is middle class and neighborhoods and swimming pools and shopping centers. I never have to see that. If you go, for example, 10 kilometers out of Sydney or something like that, and you see these small cities and towns and rail stations and all this, it's just a city. It's a small town, but there's many small towns everywhere in life. Unpopular. You understand? You never need to go there. You never need to go to farm areas and greenland. You understand? Although you have to go to the yellow colors, and you have to go to the blue colors, and you have to go to the red colors. You also have to go to the white colors of life. That's it. Now, if you just go and visit the blue colors first, and then you go visit the yellow colors, and then you go visit the red colors, and then the white colors, you'll understand what life is. Now, that's how I go and see life. Now, if you look at Australia, you see the blue color goes around Australia where the beach is. That's pretty obvious, isn't it? But then what happens is, the yellow colors are just the cities in Australia that have no beach. Understand? Anything that's a tourist attraction in terms of popular around Australia is a city like Wagga Wagga, for example. Wagga Wagga is a yellow color. And so is Alice Springs in the middle of Australia. It's a yellow color to see. Alice Springs in Australia is in the middle of Australia. Where is the Ayers Rock? But Ayers Rock is 8 hours south in terms of 8 hours west. Do you understand? So what's amazing is understand that if you're looking at the map of Australia, you understand, you see Alice Springs, but Ayers Rock is on that side. Understand? So that's going west 8 hours. But then understand that Ayers Rock area is red zone. It's a red zone there. Understand? Because when you're living there, you can only do it for a certain period of time. You can only live there for a certain amount of time before you have to go. Understand? Because there's less opportunity there and there's less Wi-Fi signal. So anywhere where there's no Wi-Fi signal is a red zone. Understand? Guess what? I realized the Amazon rainforest, that's green zone, but also red zone. Understand? Guess what? I'm honest about that. But what's amazing is understand if you're in the middle of a rainforest somewhere and there's no Wi-Fi signal, unfortunately that's also a red zone. Understand? But it's also a green zone as well. Guess what? Sometimes the colors can actually match together. You understand? But now, if you look at Frankfurt, Germany, in winter, when it's snowing, it's a yellow color, but also a white color together. I mean, you have to be aware of it. But sometimes it's just yellow color, and other times it's just white color. You understand? But I understand either way that colors change around this way. First, now, if you understand that now, since when we're looking around Australia, when the nice, beautiful coastline is the blue color, and then anything of a city that is popular or more popular is a yellow color around Australia, and then orange colors, and then orange colors, and then it's the green colors, and then the red colors. Understand? Whereas now the red color of Australia is in the middle of Australia. I mean, it makes sense. So why does it make sense? Because if you see Australia, I mean, the outside range of Australia, or any outside country that has a nice, beautiful, let's say, beach around it, is a blue color around. I mean, if you look at the coastline of Australia, you'll see blue colors everywhere. Although they're just inland, you'll see yellow colors. I mean, yellow colors are much more, let's say, just behind the blue color. You see maybe, let's say, 10 kilometers, let's just say 10 kilometer radius around Australia, with just after the coastline or after the blue color is yellow color. You understand? Versus then, from the yellow color, you see orange colors. Versus now, after the yellow color, let's just say 20 kilometers radius around Australia, after the yellow color is orange colors. Versus that's middle class people there. Whereas now middle class people live in the yellow colors too. You understand? But middle class never live in the blue areas. You understand? Whereas now you understand that. Whereas now then from orange colors is Greenland. Whereas now Greenland means green colors. Whereas now green colors come after the orange colors. Whereas now let's just say 30 kilometers radius after the orange colors is all farmland around Australia. But then after Greenland in Australia is the red zone. Whereas now the red zone is in the middle. You understand? Whereas now the white colors, whereas now there's only a specific range of white colors in Australia. And you'll find it in the blue area in terms of the blue mountains. And you'll find it in the mountain areas. Whereas now in Frankfurt, whereas it's different. Whereas now the white colors is only ever white in that country when it's winter, and or else when it's actually, let's say, snowing, or else then it changes from yellow to white. You understand? Whereas now in Australia it looks like something like this. Whereas now it goes blue colors and then white colors instead of yellow, because the white colors are then signaling that it is a snowy area. Understand? So the whole of Frankfurt, Germany turns into a white color from a yellow color when it's snowing. I'm pretty sure that's how you change white colors. But I understand the way, what's important is understand that now you can realize that Amazon rainforest is more a red color, but it's also a green color. And it's together. For example, I understand, although that what's important is understand that now, since you can see, it goes blue color, and then yellow color, and then it goes orange color, and then green color, and then red color. You understand? Whereas now, if you understand those colors, whereas red colors of tourism or around the world is places where there's less people. Understand? Whereas when there's when there's less people around the world in that area, it's a red color. Why? Because there's less help. There's less resources. There's less people to help you in that situation. So you have to find yourself going where people are. You have to head toward the blue areas of life. Understand? You have to go toward blue areas all the time. You have to find yourself in blue areas much more often in today's world, in terms of today's world, and in today's world, to understand why you have more opportunity living on the beach than you do in a red color. You understand that? Now, there's more opportunity living in a blue color today than a yellow color. Whereas now Sydney is much better to live in because you have a beach than Belgrade, Serbia. Belgrade, Serbia has no beach. Understand? It's much better to live in Sydney because Sydney, Australia, has a beach. Understand? Than the Paris, France. Paris, France has no beach. Understand? But what's amazing is understand that Sydney does have a beach. Sydney is I see. So guys, no matter what, I understand that just recently I had the cleaner come here to just change the beds. I understand, although that what's important is understanding sometimes you have to pause the video before somebody comes in, because I'm only ever doing my content and videos. I see, so guys, no matter what, I apologize for that again. I promise you, every single day, focus upon understanding your work is something very important. So you have to be using your career today to understand that you have to go and be a psychologist. You have to be a psychologist, but you have to understand the tourism of life. You have to understand it really. Understand where you're going. For example, I understand that what's amazing is Coffs Harbour, for example, has a yellow area and also a blue area. And now, why is Coffs Harbour in Australia? I'm pretty sure that's just because it is. I understand, although, that Early Beach, for example, that's in Australia also, is different. And now, why is it different? Right now, it's different because Early Beach has just a blue color. Whereas now, when an area of life where you're visiting only ever has a blue color, I mean, it's because that it's a town or small area with a beach. I mean, that's Early Beach in Australia. But if you look at, for example, let's say Port Macquarie, where I am right now, obviously there's a nice, beautiful coastline of 10 kilometers that you can walk, and I just did the walk as well. Obviously, it's a blue line. Obviously, there's a blue area in Port Macquarie, but there's also an inner land area, and population, I realize here, is bigger than Early Beach. So anywhere that, obviously, anywhere there's a life where there's a bigger area of life is also yellow color and a blue color. Understand? Because now, I understand, although that what's amazing is that the Port Macquarie has a yellow area. Approach has a yellow area, so this yellow area is part of Port Macquarie. Understand? But let's say, for example, Sydney, Australia. Approach now, Sydney, Australia is a blue zone. Approach there's many blue areas in Sydney, Australia. I mean, understand? But then there's also yellow areas. Approach there's also yellow areas around Sydney. You understand? But if you look at Sydney, approach Sydney, Australia is blue and yellow. But then inland, there's also orange areas around the Sydney, Australia. And then way out, I mean, let's say 100 kilometers out from Sydney is all Greenland, you understand? And then you have to understand it becomes a red zone, you understand? But now, understand that. But now, what's amazing is understand that Sydney, Australia never goes in snow, but I understand every single day that you go and realize now that when you go around life, you may be wherever you are, for example, in your area. But I understand that if you're living in a country where there's no beach, actually it's just a yellow area with orange areas, and there's also green land and red areas. Or actually the best you can get in those areas is maybe a white color as well. And I mean, just no blue color in those areas. I understand? So what you need to realize is maybe that's your country, for example. Whereas I'm really in Australia, so I'm actually in blue country in terms of blue areas. I understand, although you can always come and visit these areas for yourself, and I'm coaching you on how to do so. Now, everybody starts off equally, but what's amazing is understand that I'm just honest about that. I'm actually every single day focus upon understanding that if somebody's honest with you, I mean, never be, let's say, jealous of them for being honest with you. I mean, understand? Now, understand that what's amazing is Jesus Christ loves you, and God loves you every single day to understand, to give you that lifestyle that you have right now, so that you can make something from it. You understand? But God wants you to walk your shoes. Or God never wants to walk for you, because God already did walk for Jesus Christ. I mean, understand? So, I mean, do you understand that? Approach now, God walks God's shoes, you walk your shoes. Approach everybody has to walk their own shoes. I understand, although, that now, for example, when I look at these nice, beautiful areas, approach now, I mean, let's just say I go to Wagga Wagga. Approach now, from Port Macquarie to Wagga Wagga, you understand it goes from yellow color into orange colors, and then it goes into Greenland. Approach there's Greenland. You understand? Approach at some point, from Port Macquarie to Wagga Wagga is a red zone area. I mean, do you understand? I mean, there's a red zone there, and we're going through red zones. Sometimes we're going to be going through red zones in terms of red colors throughout life, and then also we're going to be going through green colors throughout life as well. Now, a green color is also a red color. I understand? Now, why is that? Because when you go into the farm areas, it's poor connection signals. But I mean, guess what? I mean, it's still a green area. And now, why is it a green area? Because I understand that it's because you'll find a farmer or you'll find people around. You understand? But anywhere that is a red zone really is where there's no people around. You understand? Now, when there's no people around you, it's a red zone. You understand? Whereas now, if you understand that, whereas now you have to understand that you are around yourself, but there's no other people. Whereas now, that's a red zone area. Whereas now, I live in a red zone area all my life. And then I live further away from people than ever before now. I want to be away from people as much as I can because that's the peaceful road. Whereas now, the peaceful road, you'll find that in the red areas. You understand? Whereas now, poverty people live in red zone areas. You understand? But the red zone areas, in terms of life, in terms of the red colors, is the most peaceful way to live. Do you understand that? Whereas now, I understand how it feels. But if you're around blue colors, for example, apparently it's always people. You understand? I mean, where do you go from that point? I mean, if you want to live in a blue area, you're always going to be around people then. Whereas now, people are chaos. You understand? Whereas now, I'm never chaos when I'm away from you. I'm never chaos when I'm with you. But what's amazing is understand that most people are unaware and they cause trouble. I mean, they cause a little trouble no matter what. So what you do is if you get around blue mountain areas, or if you go blue mountains or let's say to the mountain, and it's just you. I mean, you're looking at this horizon, you're looking at this beautiful scenery. I mean, isn't that peaceful? Gosh, it's bliss and peace because there's nobody else around you, but you're just in the sunset. I mean, you're watching the sunset, you see these massive mountains around you, and it's just you. I understand? I mean, that's beautiful, isn't it? Right now, it's beautiful and it's peaceful. So that's why I'm saying that red zone areas is dangerous, but it's also peaceful. I understand? But what's amazing about colors is that you can see that from Port Macquarie, you go through yellow areas, and then you go through orange areas, and then green areas, and then red areas. And then you come back into a green land, and then you come back into an orange area there, and then you come into the yellow area. You understand? That's how it is. So when you're traveling, you always have to go through all the colors. You understand? Approaching now from Newcastle to Port Macquarie, approaching from this point, you'll find yellow area, and then green area, and then orange area, and then there is a yellow area here. You understand? Right now, that's how it is. Right now, every single day, focus on understanding that you have to travel, but to travel through green areas and orange areas is something that you have to do on the bus and trains. Right now, if you're going through an orange area or a green area, it's because you're getting public transport from a train to take you across the states, which is going to be around Greenland, or it's going to be around farmland, and you're going to see cows, and you're going to see horses and chickens and everything. So, or else you're going to see farms because you're on the train going to interstates, you're going somewhere else. You understand? But you have to go through Greenland to get there. You understand? So that's going to happen in your lifetime. But then what's going to happen is sometimes from a yellow area, you're going to grab a bus to get to the next city. But in between is going to be an orange area. I mean, there's going to be construction. So orange areas have construction. I mean, yellow areas have construction. I mean, let's just say that the blue areas of life have construction also. But the blue areas have a beach. I mean, the yellow areas have construction, but it's a bigger city than orange areas. I understand? But orange areas have a construction, but it's a much bigger city than Greenland construction. I understand? But then Greenland construction is the smallest construction in terms of those colors. But then let's just say red colors has construction also, but it's the smallest construction and smallest amount of people as well. Right now, if you look at the spectrum of blue and yellow and orange and green and red and also white, for example, you understand that from blue to red is going downhill in terms of population. So I say blue has the most population. You understand? I'm pretty sure blue always has the most population around all areas. Whereas now, it's more of a chance that you'll find more of a population around blue areas than anywhere else in life. Whereas it's popular. I mean, that's geography. I'm talking geography here. So if you understand either way, that yellow areas are the second most popular after blue. I understand? So Belgrade, for example, is the most popular city of Serbia. Because why? I mean, because it's the biggest city. I mean, you understand? But it's a yellow color. I mean, Frankfurt is a yellow color because it's one of the most popular cities of Germany, like Bayern Munich. And also Berlin is a yellow color too. I mean, they're yellow colors, so you have to see yellow colors throughout life. I promise you, although yellow colors are less popular than blue colors. You understand? Whereas now, I'd rather live on the beach than live in a city in terms of yellow colors. I'd rather live in blue colors than yellow colors. You understand? Because it's a richer area. You understand? Whereas there's better going for it. Although what's amazing is blue areas have more opportunity than yellow areas. So if when you find, for example, orange areas, you'll find less popular areas than yellow areas. Now, if you find, let's say, orange colors, you'll find less popular areas throughout life where it's never a yellow color also. You understand? Now, if you find yellow colors, yellow colors are bigger in terms of range, in terms of construction and people than orange colors. Now, orange colors have construction but has much more people and much more construction than green areas. You understand? And now, because anywhere in terms of life where there is a green area, from that point you understand that there's more construction in green areas than there is in the red zone areas. You understand? Now, if you understand that the most people live in the blue areas, and then the yellow areas, which is also a white area. The white and yellow goes together here, but then also the most people live in the blue areas, and then the yellow and white areas, and then also it is the orange areas, and then it's the green areas, and then it's the red areas. Now, if you want to find the most opportunity in life, you go toward the blue areas. You understand? You have to go toward the blue areas of life as much as you can to find the most opportunities. You understand? But opportunities are everywhere. You understand? Now, what's amazing is actually understand this, that right now you have internet, for example. You have to understand that you can travel anywhere you want. But understand that if you find yourself around signals where there's no Wi-Fi signal, now that is a red area. You understand? There's no Wi-Fi signal there. And there's no other people. But what you need to understand is you can still work with yourself. You can still work and do your content. You can still do something around areas where there's no Wi-Fi. Understand? But just understand that it's a red area as well. It means that if you're around red areas for a long period of time, you then get in trouble. You understand? Now, you have to get into a red area really quickly to see it quickly and then move out. So understand now that with the internet, it's the same thing. Now, if you see Wi-Fi, for example, you'll see in red colors. Now, in Paul Macquarie, it's a red color with the internet here. You understand? Now, I have to get out of here as quickly as possible because of the internet. You understand? Now, it's never because of the internet, but I have to move anyway. I have to go somewhere else because I understand I have to upload this video for you. But the internet here is so poor for you to even get the message. So that's why I have to move really quickly. So Paul Macquarie has a bad signal connection with Wi-Fi. I promise you, it's the worst I've ever seen. Now, I've seen worse. I've seen worse at Ayers Rock over there. I understand that what's important is Paul Macquarie from the yellow areas of life is the worst city I've ever seen in Australia and in the world that has Wi-Fi that never works. You understand? Now, it works, but just really. You understand? And it's a city. It's a yellow color. So either way, now you have to look at life now with internet colors, which is if you want to find better connection with internet, you head toward blue areas. Understand? Because green areas also lack signal as well. So you'll find red internet signals or red colors in green areas as well. Understand? So it may be a green area. So let's just say farm areas can also be a red area too. Now, it's honest, but understand either way that it's mostly a green area. Understand? But sometimes you have to look out for the colors. Now, if you're in a farm, but you travel 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers that way, and it's just a farm, but nobody's around you for 20 kilometers and you have to walk. Now, you're in a red zone there. Why? Because you have to walk 20 kilometers to get to the next house. You have to walk it yourself. So if you find yourself stranded like that in terms of your life, you have to walk it or you have to do it yourself in terms of life. I'm pretty sure it's a red zone. But you have to live in the red zone to live life. Understand? Now, the red zone is living life on the edge. It's discomfort. It's something that you realize that you'll find yourself in red zones. You find yourself throughout life climbing mountains. And then how do you get back? How do you get back? You have to find your way. You have to walk a little bit. You'll find your way. Understand? But never get lost. Now, if you never find your way, that's when you may die. Now, if you go in the Sahara Desert, you're in the middle of the Sahara Desert, and there's no people around you, and there's no water, and there's no drink, and there's no petrol, and your car's stopped. Now, what you do is you realize you're in a red zone. Now, what you have to do is it's survival mode. You're in survival mode. You understand? Anything that is a survival mode is a red color. Now, if you find yourself in the middle of an ocean, let's just say the Titanic, crashes into an iceberg, because that's what happened. Now, with them, they're straight away in a red zone, because they're in the middle of nowhere. Understand? And it's ice. The water is ice. They're all in the actual water of ice. Now, back in those times, now when the Titanic did crash, I love that. Now, when the Titanic did crash in the iceberg, now it's a massive ship, isn't it? But the iceberg is even bigger than the ship. Understand? So what you do is you realize that the Titanic did sink. You understand? And then the people also went into the water. And now the water is something that did kill all of them, in terms of most of them. Although they did have boats. They did have boats. But on those boats is people. And now people are trying to get on those boats. People are trying to get on those boats. But the people are just smacking them and saying, they're saying, get lost. And they're trying to never save their lives. You understand? So that they can save their own life. Let's say a boat full of people is 30 people inside the boat. But that's all you can fit inside the boat. If any more people come on the boat, the whole boat will tip over. Guess what the 30 people do? They're fighting off these other people. They're kicking their head. They're saying, get lost. Get lost. You can never come on this boat. You can never come on this boat. But the people are living in the ice water. It's ice water. Do you understand over there in Antarctica? Do you see when you go into the water there? It's so cold. That water's so cold, isn't it? Now, those people in the Titanic days, the boat did sink. And then what happens is, from that point, those people went into icy water or into the ocean that's so cold, next to an iceberg. Understand? And then the freezing water kills them. Understand? So what they have to do is get on the boat. But on the boat, you see many people already. And then they are stranded inside of the ocean while people are saving their life, while they never want to save their life. Understand? So what's amazing is understand that when you describe something, you describe it better. I understand, although, that let's say you're looking for a boat, and you are on the actual icy water, or you're in the water that's going to kill you. But you have to get on a boat so that you can save your life. But then you come to me, and I'm on a boat with many people already, and I have a life. I'm somebody that's safe at the moment. Unless you tip over the boat. What do I do? I have to kick your head. I have to kick your head literally. I have to punch you. I have to punch you to say, get lost. And get lost because why? I want to save my life. I want to live life. If you try to get on this boat, the boat can collapse altogether, and then all 30 people on the boat die as well. Understand? So people back in those days are trying to get on these boats, but the people are kicking them and saying, get lost and get lost. So what happens to those people who never get on the boat? They die in the water. Understand? And that's the Titanic. Now, that's why it's a story, and it's a very sad story, but it's also a great story. You understand? Now, anyway, now, realize this. Now, if you understand why I say that, now, it's because of the nice, beautiful range of what happens before the Titanic, of why it's a great story. Now, the ending of the Titanic is a sad story, but it starts off great, doesn't it? Now, anyway, now, realize this, that with Jesus Christ's story, it's a very great story, and then it ends sadly. Do you understand? Now, when it ends sadly, also goes in history, and that's a great story then. You understand? It's a great story when you have the Titanic story, and when you have the Jesus Christ story, for example. It's a great story overall. You understand? Now, if you understand that, Right now, everything is great in this life, but what's amazing is understanding the colors of life now. Right now, the colors of life is understanding that if you want to travel throughout life now, you go and travel these ways. You travel to what's closer to you first, and try to go to the blue areas, but it's closer and more affordable, and there's more opportunity there in terms of more population of people. I mean, now, if you're traveling around blue areas of life, you have to go toward the places of life where there's more people in the blue area than less people. I mean, let's say Sydney, Australia has 4.5 million people, but it's a blue area. But Early Beach has 2,000 people, but it's a blue area. I mean, where would you rather go? You rather go to Sydney, Australia, to see Sydney, Australia, because there's 4.5 million people in the blue area. You understand? So that's a much better place to go to at first. Right now, why? Because where the more popularity is in terms of more people is the most popular areas. You understand? Whereas now, if you understand, for example, that when we look at the colors of life, you look at red and blue, you see green, you see white, you see yellow, you see orange. You go where the most people are first when you're traveling, but go somewhere where it's closer to you, and then go somewhere also where it is also the nice, beautiful way of saying that it's an orange color. I just know my word I only, but I understand that every single day that when it's an orange color, you go where it's more popular, for example, out of every other orange color. You understand? Whereas now with the yellow colors, you go where it's much more popular in terms of the yellow colors than the other ones. I mean, Lismore in Australia has maybe 2,000 people, but Belgrade has 1 million people, and it's a yellow color. I mean, in a sense, so what you really realize is when you have more affordability and you can afford it, you go to the more affordable ranges where it's a much better place to visit. You understand? So when you look at the nice, beautiful spectrum of colors, you're going to find that the most animals that you'll ever find in life are in the red zone areas. You understand? Now, why is that? Because in the blue areas and in the yellow areas and in the green areas and orange areas, it's all construction. I mean, you'll find more animals in green areas than you will in orange areas. You find more animals in orange areas than you will in yellow color areas. And you'll find more in terms of life, in terms of animals, in yellow colors than you will the blue colors. And now why is that? Because there's more people in those areas. And now when there's more people there, there's less non-human animals. I mean, understand? But the zoos of life, and now when you see a zoo in life, where they capture animals, it's in all the colors. You'll find the zoos in the red colors. You'll find the zoos in all the colors out there. Understand? But what's amazing is understanding that now, since you understand these colors, you have to understand that there's a Wi-Fi signal color, which is the same colors, but consider that the blue colors have the best Wi-Fi signal. I mean, you understand? I mean, guess what? And then you have the people. I mean, the blue areas have the most people of life. I mean, you understand? And then also you understand that the opportunities in terms of the blue colors, you will see far more construction as well than any other area in terms of any other color. So when you're traveling throughout life, you have to go to the most popular blue areas of life only. You understand? And then you go to the most popular yellow colors of life. And then you go to the most popular red colors of life. Understand? And then you go to the most popular what? You go to the most popular orange colors and the most popular green colors. And then you have to understand that you go to the most popular white colors too. You go when it's white season. You understand? Now, if you're in Frankfurt, Germany, when there's no snow, you have to go to Frankfurt, Germany again to see the snow. You have to see the snow this time. Do you understand? So what's amazing is understanding that if you have the plastic money or the money to do so, you only ever have it when you're communicating more. But I understand much greater about my life and how I live life now. I mean, guess where I live in life? I live in Sydney, Australia. I live in the nice, beautiful Chinatown Hotel when I'm in Sydney only. I mean, yes, but it changes all the time. I realize nothing is ever really, let's say, spot on, other than making sure that you're growing yourself. Now, when you're growing yourself, you're traveling also, but you're traveling in a nice, beautiful way of communicational skills. And now, the more communicational skills you do in life, the better for you. So understand either way that when you really, really understand your colors throughout life and tourism and how to get around with these colors now. I mean, how many colors are there? I mean, there's 6 colors. I mean, there's blue color. I mean, there's a white and yellow color. I mean, there's a red color and green color and orange color. I mean, understand now that I just put labels of these colors. I put labels on these colors so that I can map myself to get around the nice, beautiful Australia and the world. You understand? But I understand now where I'm heading and which colors and why, for example. And now, for example, I understand that Coffs Harbour has more people than Early Beach, for example. But I understand that what's amazing is I went from Newcastle to Port Macquarie, and now I have to go to Coffs Harbour and then Early Beach and Mackay. But guess what? I realized that Coffs Harbour is closer to me than Early Beach. Now, let's just say that Early Beach is closer, but has 2,000 people, but Coffs Harbour is way over there. I mean, it's further away from me, but there's more people there. And it's a blue colour. But since Early Beach is so much closer to me, I may as well go to Early Beach. I mean, why? Because even though there is a less population there than Coffs Harbour, I realise it's more affordable for me to get there now in terms of, and also it's a blue area. I mean, it's closer to me. I mean, understand? So when you have a blue area next to you and it's closer to you, you go to that area first. I mean, understand? So there's a big difference. You have to go traveling closer to you. I mean, imagine this. You go to America from Australia. You fly from Sydney to Las Vegas. I mean, understand? I mean, why Las Vegas? I mean, let's just say New York is a much better place than Las Vegas because of the beach. Right now, either way, you travel from Sydney to New York beach. Right now, from New York, you go to China, Hong Kong, because there's a beach there. I mean, from China, Hong Kong, you fly over to, let's say, San Francisco this time. I mean, why San Francisco? You were just in America, man. I mean, why are you going from Asia? I mean, why are you going from Australia to America to Asia, back to America when you travel? I mean, look at the distance. I mean, it's so far. I mean, why don't you go from New York to Los Angeles, to Miami, to California, to Las Vegas, for example? Understand? I mean, while you are in America, you go see America first. When America's closer to you. I mean, when you're in Australia, you just see Australia. I mean, isn't that simple? I mean, see Australia first, and then go other countries. I mean, when you get to Spain, you see Spain, and then you travel to Italy and see Italy. I mean, when I say see Italy, I mean see all the cities of Italy. I mean, you can only ever leave your country of where you are right now once you've seen it. The moment you see your whole country is the moment you can travel everywhere else. Understand? Now, what's closer to Australia? I mean, New Zealand. I mean, guess what? I mean, that's my next stop. I mean, why? Because it's closer to me. I mean, from Australia to New Zealand is 5 hours by plane. But then guess what? While I'm in New Zealand, I'll go see all the areas right away because it's closer to me. I mean, there's more to see when it's closer. But why would you go from New Zealand, Christchurch, to America to go to Auckland again? I mean, why? I mean, why do you want to go from New Zealand, Christchurch, which is a city in Christchurch in the nice, beautiful New Zealand? But then you want to go to New York. So you go to New York, for example, and then guess what? I mean, then you find yourself in Auckland from New York. I mean, why are you traveling an extra 40 hours? I mean, you understand? I mean, from Christchurch to Auckland is 2 hour drive. I mean, you understand? I mean, doesn't it make sense for you to go from Christchurch to Auckland? I mean, you get it? I mean, that's simple, isn't it? But Christchurch and Auckland and all these cities that are main cities of New Zealand are all blue areas. You have to go see. And it's also yellow areas. And there's also orange there. And there's also green areas. And there's also red areas there. I mean, do you understand? So realize that, for example, New Caledonia is just a blue area. I mean, why? I mean, New Caledonia is just a small island. You understand? And you can walk everywhere. But now, is there Wi-Fi signals? Or there's Wi-Fi signals everywhere there? I mean, everywhere. I mean, guess what? I mean, it's a blue area. You understand? Or it's just a town with beaches around. You understand? Or now, there's always a signal there. You can always go on the internet there. Or now, every single day, focus on understanding that when you're really, really now much better, you have to understand why Lismore is popular for me now, because I'm in Port Macquarie and Lismore is just down the road. I understand? I mean, Lismore. I mean, who cares about Lismore? I mean, understand? But guess what? I mean, it's a city. I mean, it's a yellow color in Australia. I mean, understand? I mean, it's a yellow color. I mean, it's never an orange color. I mean, it's a yellow color. I mean, orange colors are, let's say, 5 kilometers after Lismore. I mean, understand? I mean, after Lismore, there's neighborhoods around Lismore, where it's all small neighborhoods, and you may find a school or a public elementary school or something like that. I mean, big deal. I understand? I mean, never go to orange colors in the first place. I mean, understand? And never go to Greenland colors. I mean, never go to green and never go to orange. But bypass, yes. I mean, try to bypass in terms of what does bypass mean? I mean, try to get on a bus or whatever in terms of life that's going to drive you through the orange colors or to drive you through the green colors. But never go neighborhoods doing these photos of the neighborhoods. I mean, big deal. I mean, somebody's already done the photos of those neighborhoods. I mean, now, if you want to put your photo in there and you want to put yourself in a video or photo, you can do it. But never try to do photos and videos of just the area, because they've done it already for you. You can go online and search up that Google Trends and that city, and you can find all the photos of that city already. I mean, somebody's done the photos of that city. I mean, somebody's done the videos of that city already. You understand? So what you do is put your face in it. I mean, put your body in it, and that's different. Right now, that's how you save 24 years of battery life in your phone right now. You save 24 years of battery life by just putting yourself in the video and putting yourself in the photo. Because you're going to take less photos throughout life and less videos throughout life when you're doing it with yourself than doing it of everything else except you. I mean, let's just say that I'd rather put myself in this video than go talk on the side there so you can see the wall. I mean, you get it? I mean, anybody can do that. I can always press play, and so that you can just see the background while I talk. I understand? But you can still hear my voice, and it's still worth it. I mean, it's still worth you listening to me. But I understand either way. I'd rather put myself here, because that's the whole difference. I understand why I do travel videos and photos of myself while traveling. So when there's a beach, I never take photos of the beach. I never care about the beach. I care about myself in the photo with the beach. I mean, there's a big difference. I care about myself being in the video with the beach. You understand? I mean, there's a big difference. I don't really care about taking videos of the beach. Or should somebody else has done that? Or should somebody else has done photos of that beach? When you get it? Whereas now, if there is a reference, for example, or an information process or system that I have to take a photo with so that I can reference it and so that I can remember something, I do a photo. I mean, let's say I want to remember what's on this. I want to remember that label so that I can show somebody specifically what I mean. I do a photo. I then go to Woolworths and I say, hey, you guys wrote this in this plastic bottle. I mean, it saves me taking the plastic bottle with me. For example, I just take a photo of that label, I go to Woolworths and I show them the photo of what is on the label. I mean, that's a difference. That is a difference. For example, it's different to do that. You have to do that if you need to reference something to show somebody else. You understand? Or to show evidence. I mean, do some photos to show evidence, for example, of something that you need only. I mean, guess what? Whereas now, if you're in an area where you understand that you need to show somebody, if you need to even show yourself that information, you can do a photo of the writing around that system. So what you do, for example, is never ever again go to travel photos or travel videos where it's never you in the picture or never you in the video. But let's say, for example, sometimes when you're touring or you're doing tourism or you're traveling the world, you'll find photos. You'll find photos and with writing on it. I mean, stop please reading that. I mean, and guess what? You take a photo, you do a photo of it, and then read it in your bedroom. But keep moving. I mean, by the time you read that, it's 10 minutes of your life. I understand? I mean, guess what? I mean, it adds to your experience. I'm sure it does add to your experience. I mean, you get it? But read it in a better time. I mean, you get it? I mean, keep moving and seeing the images of life. I mean, keep moving. Because by the time you stop here and here, I mean, let's say there's 1,000 ways to read something to get to your destination. But do 1,000 photos and just get to your destination 10 hours earlier. And you get it? And then guess what? Or else in your bed, you sit for 1 hour, you read all of it. Well, you never have to stand doing it. You never have to stand up doing it. Understand? Because when you go to the beach, for example, you find a nice beautiful writing of the beach and the history of the beach. You do a photo of it. You then come to the bedroom and you read it at the bedroom. You understand? Because otherwise, you have to stand up doing it. You have to stand up reading all of that. And standing up is physical, but so is sitting and so is laying around. But it's much better for you to do a photo of 1,000 places where there's history of writing about the places, but then sit in one session and read all together. You understand? That's what I mean. You save time. You save a lot of time this way. Because how? You will understand that it's the same amount of time, but it's a different way to do it. But then you travel faster just doing the photos first and then sitting down and reading it in a better time. Because you actually do stand less like this. Whereas now it's much better for you. Understand? Because would you rather stand or sit throughout life? I'd rather sit throughout life. You understand? Whereas now, why is that? Whereas now, if you understand that if you go for the next 100 years, I mean, you have to choose between sitting or standing. I mean, I'd rather sit down. I'd rather sit down. I mean, understand? I mean, would you rather sit down or lay down? I'd rather lay down completely. I'd rather lay down. I'd rather lay down than sit. I mean, why? Because it's just much more. I mean, it's much more in my favor. I gain more energy when I'm laying down still than sitting like this. Because eventually my back may get sore from the sitting. Whereas my standing may get sore with my legs because I'm standing so much. Understand? So it's much better to sit than it is to stand. I mean, it's much better to lay down than it is to sit. And it's much better to sleep than it is to be awake. Understand? Now, why is that? Because that's just the way it is. Now, if you have an opportunity to understand that when your life is something peaceful, you're just asleep, aren't you? You're asleep. And in your sleep, you feel magnificent. You have the best dream. You have the best dream in your sleep. I mean, it's so peaceful, isn't it? You're sleeping, but you're relaxing. And you're in silence. You're just you're in your grave, for example. You're in your grave and nobody's touching you anymore. I mean, nobody's coming in to dig your grave or to tell you to pay these bills. I mean, you're in complete bliss in the funeral. You understand? I mean, you ever see the graveyards? That's what I mean. I mean, that's so peaceful, isn't it? You're just under the ground and you're just silent. I mean, you have peace and bliss over here. I mean, nobody's going to come to tell you anymore what to do. I mean, understand? I mean, that's what I mean. So every single day, focus upon understanding that there is a better world and that there is something in your life right now that you can achieve, that you can help other people with. So understand either way that the geographical colors, in terms of geography colors and the geography, in terms of the geographical life expectancy, is understanding that when you understand the colors of life now, you can now go and just do you, but then realize that you have to go and move forward. You have to move forward your reputation. You have to move forward everything about life. And then you have to understand that you have to find yourself in blue areas to get the best Wi-Fi signal and to get the best amount of people with you, and also to make sure that you have the best opportunities and to see the best aspects of life. But the best aspects of life is all the colors. But you have to understand that in life, you have to travel all the colors to be ultra rich. You understand? Whereas now, if you understand that poverty people live just in the red areas, I mean, if you have to understand this, that if, let's just say you have a color to live by in life, but the blue areas are the most popular, all the way down to the red colors that are the most poverty ones. You obviously want to live in the blue areas. I understand? But guess what happens to those who live in the blue areas? I mean, they settle in the blue area, and guess what? Or else they get very bored, I understand. Or they're very boring to live like that. Or people who live in blue areas only are very bored. I understand? I mean, they have nothing to do. I mean, they may be rich and living in the best area, but guess what? I mean, they are finito. I mean, understand? I mean, that if you go and live by, let's say, the most popular city of Australia, which is Sydney, and you just live in the centre of CBD, but you have a beach next to you, and let's say it's Cronulla Beach. I mean, yeah, you have a beach. I mean, big deal. I mean, that's just one beach of the world. And that's just one beach of the world. I mean, what? I mean, you're going to settle at Cronulla all your life. I mean, is that boring? That's so boring. Honestly. I mean, you have the same house all the time. I mean, you have the same car park. You have the same shopping centre. I mean, you have the same people in that area. I mean, come on. I mean, everything's the same when you're just settling down in one area. But if you want to be ultra rich, you travel all the colours and never live anywhere specifically, but just keep moving and living everywhere. You understand? I mean, you live in Port Macquarie for a bit, you live in Coffs Harbour for a bit, you live in Lismore for a bit, you live in Alice Springs for a bit, you live in New York for a bit, you live in Los Angeles for a bit. I mean, enjoy. I mean, you live over here for a bit, you live over here for a bit. I mean, all your life. I mean, do it all your life. I mean, understand? I mean, never settle. I mean, when you're 100 years of age, I mean, be traveling everywhere as much as you can. Understand? I mean, never settle to live in one area, because I understand that what's amazing is the more physical you are in terms of life, you have to understand it's more that you're more spiritual than physical. Whereas now, the people who are much more spiritual are able to travel more physically. You understand? Whereas now, if you are never that spiritual, you then are going to be the ones who are stuck in one area. I understand? But you have to be more spiritual to understand how to travel. You travel through spirituality rather than physicality. I understand? I'm traveling spiritually with you right now. I'm traveling in the spiritual dimension to teach you something about life. Rosh now, guess what? Rosh now, there's a big difference between how my life is now and how it is before. But I understand that what's amazing now is if you want you to understand anything about life, you have to understand to just do you, but realize something. You have to go and do you. You have to understand to go and do your better product, and understand that no matter what, that if you go and give information, you realize something. You just have to go and really, really deliver. You have to deliver in a better way, but I understand either way. Focus upon your life and focus upon giving information to everybody so that they can succeed. Now, when you do that, when you do succeed every single day, you're going to focus upon understanding that anybody who has information to give you is successful. So when you're really, really giving more information, you are the successful one. So be the one every single day who's focusing upon life and giving people more information so that you can travel more spiritually. I welcome you guys back into my nice beautiful video here. I understand that what's important is understanding, guys, that every single day you must be understanding your way of life. So when you're understanding your way of life every single day, you're going to be focusing upon you and your life in a way that you're helping people grow. And now when you're helping people grow, you have to understand my life. You have to understand I have to get a master's degree, I have to get a social worker degree and social studies degree so that I can go into a 9-to-5 job and smash it, so that I can go around the world and get real estate, and so that I can go and do these seminars around the world, and so that I can just live in prosperity. Because why do I have to get myself into a university by getting myself in debt so that I can get myself rich? I mean, I already gave you the answer. I mean, understand that if I go and become a psychologist, I make 100 grand per year. I understand? But then on the side, you have to understand I'm much better of a psychologist than any other psychologist, because guess what? I have a PhD with psychology, and then guess what? I'm also doing videos online and on social media, and I'm doing world events around the world as well. But other psychologists are just in one local area, and that's it. They have no social media. You understand? That's the type of psychologist they are. I understand? I'm a psychologist who's working 24/7 while they are working a 9-to-5 job. I understand? I mean, they're just working 9 to 5. I'm working 24/7 as a psychologist, but I'm single, and that's why I'm always doing much better. You understand? Right now, anybody who has a family today is much poorer than people who are single. I mean, anybody who's single is doing better individually than everybody else. You understand? Unfortunately, that's how it is. I mean, why is that? Because other people waste your time. So I look for myself to increase my productivity the most I can and time management skills. So what I do is I understand that I want to delay family and having my own family in terms of my own kids and my wife as much as possible. And why is that? Because I increase my productivity this way. I get much more smarter. I get richer this way. I live happier without other people in my life. I live happier without kids. I promise you, I live happier without a wife and without a girlfriend. I understand? Because to have a girlfriend and to have a husband or wife or, let's say, kids in your life is going to take your time away. You have to drive them everywhere. You have to carry them with you. I mean, it's more dead weight. You understand? Right now, guess what? Right now, nothing's more dead weight other than making sure it's just more for you to understand that you have to carry them with you. You understand? I mean, when you look at a kangaroo, kangaroo has a daughter or a son, but it's in the pouch. And now when the kangaroo's jumping, the baby's in the pouch. You have to carry everything. I mean, it's more weight, isn't it? Right now, guess what? That's how it is. Right, when you look at monkeys, right, when you see the monkey, right, the monkey's over the mother like this. Right, the mother's hitchhiking with the baby somewhere. Understand? Because you have to understand that it's more dead weight. Right now, when I say more dead weight, right, it's more that it's just more weight. I mean, I understand, although that what's important is realize that when you travel single, you travel lightly, you travel blissfully, you travel like Jesus. Understand? So there's no shame in understanding that single way is the best way. Or else if you go around the world, you get one plane tickets, you get one single way to get there. You never go backwards. I mean, you can ask any question. You can get your refund if you want your refund. I mean, guess what? Or else if you want your refund from places, you have to make sure you never get a refund. You have to make sure you never get a refund. I mean, as soon as you give $2 to get the bottle, I mean, never go back to the shop after it's open to give them the bottle back. I mean, why? Because it's 20 minutes of your life to get to Woolworths to give to give your water back. I mean, it's 20 minutes of your life. I mean, is it worth it? I mean, why do you want a refund for? I mean, guess what? I mean, if you give $100 deposit or something, I mean, get your refund over the phone or something like that. So you never have to go to them. I mean, never travel to people physically to get a refund. But if you want to do this though, you want to go return this one so that you can get something better, you can do it. But if you just want to return this to get some plastic money, you never do it. You never return possessions to get some plastic money for it. I mean, it's a waste of your time. I mean, understand? I mean, oh, but Danny, I mean, if I return my portable speaker, I get $5 billion. I mean, never do it. I mean, understand? I mean, guess what? Or else now, you have to understand that if you see this now, or if you go return your portable speaker, that's $5 million in net worth. And you have to understand that they give you the money. But guess what? Or is that it may take you 1 billion years to get to that point. I mean, is it worth it? I mean, to even get to that point, to get $5 billion for your portable speaker, I mean, it has to go 1 billion years more. I mean, do you want to waste 1 billion years of your life? I mean, what for? I mean, why do you want to waste 1 billion years of your life to get $5 billion? I mean, is it worth it? So guess what? Apparently, it's the same thing with a bottle of water. I mean, or anything. You get it? But if you want to go do this, I mean, if you want to travel 1 billion years somewhere to return a portable speaker, that's $5 billion, to get your $5 billion back, but to give another $20 billion to get something better, now you're worth it. Now it's worth it. Because why? Or you're going to get something better than the portable speaker. So why not travel 1 billion years to get it? Because you'll get something better in return. Understand? I never go to the shop to return the portable speaker after 1 year of using it. Understand? I go to the shop to return the portable speaker after 1 year, but then guess what? I give them more money in return to get something else. I mean, understand? Because what happens is, or else they'll use it again, or else they'll use the broken speaker, and when they'll fix it, they'll fix it, and they'll reuse it, and they'll sell it on eBay, for example. You understand? And they'll sell it online somewhere, and they'll say it's secondhand. You understand? But then I give them more money to get something else. I mean, you can do that. You can do that. Right now, do they want to add that money? But guess what? Or you have a guarantee. You have a guarantee that if you give more money, you'll get something else in return. You give it to them for free then. You give them a portable speaker for free, you'll get something better. You understand? Right now, that's how it goes. Right now, if you realize every single day to focus on your life and understanding that you have to have a master's degree today to be able to do anything much more. You understand? Right now, if you have a master's degree today, you then have an opportunity to make $100,000 per year at the 9-to-5 job. Right now, guess what? You are doing better than everybody else. You understand? You're doing better than everybody else in a 9-to-5 job. I mean, isn't it worth it? Or actually, it's worth it. But guess what? I'm doing psychology now. So why not do psychology in a 9-to-5 job also? I mean, you understand? I mean, isn't that nice and beautiful? I mean, it adds up because life coaches are psychology people. You understand? Apparently, psychology is philosophy. And now, the better individual who is doing more work in psychology today can be noticed much more when they're working a 9-to-5 job than receiving handouts from the government. I understand? So I rather listen to you because you have a PhD than listen to you because you're receiving money from the government without a PhD. I understand? I want to see that you did study 6 years at a university with a certificate that says, hey, I am this individual who has went to university for what I do in terms of 6 years, and I have a certificate, and I gave $100,000 to get this. You understand? And I'm working on a 9-to-5 job, and I have $100,000 per year and more. You understand? I mean, guess what? I'd rather listen to you than somebody who comes up to me and says, hey, I receive money from the government, and I never have to work a 9-to-5 job in my life ever again. I mean, there's a big difference, isn't it? I mean, how is that possible? Right now, if you understand that it's just common knowledge, that you rather go with the people who have a qualification than people who are just receiving money somewhere. Right now, guess what? Right now, wow. I mean, what for? I mean, what's amazing is understand that people who have a qualification are the ones that have much more integrity and much more, let's say, privileges than people who are just receiving money. Right now, no. Right now, you have to understand it's more equal. It's equal on both sides. But what's amazing is today, you have to understand that they acknowledge people with certificates rather than people who receive money from other people. Understand? Right now, that's the kind of world you live in. Right now, what do? You play by the rules. You play by the rules. You understand? You then make sure they understand that somebody who's just receiving money can give you some knowledge. You understand? But what's amazing is anybody who is receiving money is also in or as they already are qualifying themselves as whatever they are. But then if you understand these people went to study, and now you have to get yourself a 9-to-5 job in today's law. You have to get yourself a 9-to-5 job today and in today's world to succeed. I mean, why? Because you're going to go through phases in life. You're going to live in poverty, you're going to live poor, you're going to live middle class, you're going to live rich, and you're going to also live the ultra rich. I love that. Right now, you're going to live all the colors of the seasons of life. You're going to make sure every single day they understand that what's going to happen daily is understand that no matter what, I have to connect these videos together so that I can show you completely every single day that when you're really dwelling upon something greater, you're going to understand that it all connects together. So I understand every single day, it's much better for I to connect this video together so I can show you really what I mean. Right now, every single day, focus upon understanding that if you're really living your life to the fullest, you're going to focus upon what you can do, and you're going to focus on yourself to get yourself a 9-to-5 job so that you can connect the dots together and so that you can do something that nobody else has done. You have to outwork people in a 9-to-5 job to make sure that you're successful. It's that simple. Now, when you're doing that much more and more throughout life, you're going to understand that people who have much more of a blessing are the ones who are studying more. You understand? There are much more students. Anybody who's much more a student today is anybody who's making more in life. I mean, they're making more in everything. I mean, they're making more plastic money. I mean, they're going to university more. I mean, they're educating themselves more. I mean, understand that is the way. But guess what? Right now, if you have yourself right now in a 9-to-5 job, you have to go the road of busking, and then you have to go the road of seminars and doing seminars around the world about what you love to do. Right now, what job inside of the 9-to-5 job right now can you give a live performance with around the world? I mean, it's leadership. I mean, it's public speaking. I mean, psychology. I understand? I mean, it's philosophy. I mean, it's personal health and development. I understand? So you can go and be a coach somewhere right now and coach people with information, and that's how you can travel around the world. Or that's the only way. But who's going to listen to a cleaner? I mean, they're going to say that they're a cleaner at the 9-to-5 job, and they may show you some nice people techniques right away. For sure, anybody can work a 9-to-5 job and also public speak around the world. I mean, you understand? But what happens is realize you're going to go through phases of life. I mean, from the age of 0 to 10, you may be poor, but then from 11 to 12, you may be middle class. You then from 13 may be rich for the rest of your life. And then guess what? You may also turn ultra rich from the age of 25. I mean, you're going to go through all the phases. You understand? Because from the age of 0 to 8, I did live poor. You understand? I then went from middle class. I went from age of 8. I went from age of 8 to, let's say, to 26. I've been middle class all my life and poor. You understand? But now I'm ultra rich. I'm ultra rich now. I went through a phase of being richer and richer and richer throughout my process of information giving as well. So it's the whole spectrum. I've been where poverty is. I've been where poor is. I've been where rich is. I've been where ultra rich is. You understand? I mean, what is there left to do? Our rushing now is just make sure you're growing, everybody. I mean, in a sense, so what you do is realize that if you get yourself a certificate today, you can sell people on something. You can sell them on that you are a psychologist that went to university, that has a 6-year diploma or 6-year degree, and you are now working on a 9-to-5 job with $100,000 a year and more. I understand? And what do? You leave the 9-to-5 job eventually. You get yourself real estate. And guess what you do? You leave the 9-to-5 job altogether eventually. I understand? I mean, that's the only way. You have to work a 9-to-5 job to get out of the 9-to-5 job. I understand? Now, if you never work a 9-to-5 job, nobody else is going to give you money in the long term to never work a 9-to-5 job. Understand? Nobody else is going to give you money. I mean, you must go get the money. You must work the 9-to-5 job to get out of the 9-to-5 job. But then what you do with that is work more than those people who are working the 9-to-5 job. I mean, how do you do that? You make sure that you're building a side business or side hustle and something that's on the side, like these life coaching videos, and plug it up online. I do music on the side as well. I do music production and life coaching on the side. That's never a 9-to-5 work. I mean, and then I go to the 9-to-5 work to do life coaching even more in the 9-to-5 work, which is psychology. I make it work for me. I go study 6 years so that I can also do these videos as well every single day for 3 hours for the next 6 years as well while I'm studying the university. And then I work a 9-to-5 job for 20 years, but I give you the knowledge here for 3 hours a day. After my 9-to-5 work, I'm still doing this every single day. I'm doing it for 3 hours. And I'm still doing music production. And I'm still doing comedy and acting. Do you understand? And guess what? I'm doing the whole spectrum, aren't I? I'm doing the 9-to-5 job and the side hustle together. I'm working on myself all day long. But guess what? I'm enjoying the process of the 9-to-5 too. I'm enjoying the process of my daily life. And then guess what? I build up an amount of money. I have this amount of money, but then real estate comes into my life. I give money here, but then now I have people who are giving me money. I have people who are giving me money in other terms. That's never a 9-to-5 job. But then I make value here. I make sure I get more cash flow and more real estate to make sure I never have to work a 9-to-5 job ever again. And then that's that. Now, if you understand that what I can do is I can save $400,000, but then go travel in the world for maybe 10 years. But that $400,000 is always going to go downhill. I understand? But then how does it go uphill? I have to make more. I have to go to a 9-to-5 job again to make that $400,000 go up. I understand? So that's why you get a master's degree. So that you can always get a job somewhere. You can always get a job. You understand? At a 9-to-5 job. Right now, if you're working a 9-to-5 job, you eventually have to get real estate if you want to escape the 9-to-5 job, because other people are never going to give you money. Other people are never going to give you money, but what's going to give you money is real estate. Assets. Now, an asset is something that brings you money, and a liability is something that takes away your money. But what's amazing is when you work a 9-to-5 job, you can also have real estate. And then guess what? I realize that once real estate is paying for itself, you never work a 9-to-5 job again, because you always have side income. You always have something coming in with you. You always can travel the world now for free, and you never have to work a 9-to-5 job again. But yes, you did study 6 years at a 9-to-5 for the master's degree. You understand? Guess what? You're studying for the master's degree all your life. Life's a study anyway, so you may as well study. You understand? But guess what? Or is that they may say, hey, it's $90,000 to repay. You guess what? You give them the money. You give them the money because you'll find it elsewhere. You understand? Or is that what's amazing is everything's happening for you. You understand? But what's amazing is you're making money work for you. You understand? Russia, you say, yeah, I'll give you money over the next 72 years. Or I'll give you $20 a day. You understand? I make $100,000 a year. I'll give you $2,000 a year to repay it. You still have $98,000 a year. You give them $2,000. You understand? But then guess what? You get yourself real estate in the process. You have to get yourself in debt to get yourself out of debt. You understand? That's how it is, but it's a flexible way to do so. Now, you need real estate knowledge. You have to get yourself real estate information. But if you want to have real estate, you have to start off with real estate that you can afford. You have to start yourself with real estate that's around $100,000 per unit. You understand? And then make sure you get people into that unit, and then you're always going to have cash flow. You understand? Now, what you do with the money that you get from real estate or from your 9-to-5 job is you build side hustles to go around the world traveling and doing your nice, beautiful information everywhere for free. Is that simple? You still have the money, you still have the life, but you're doing your content for free. I'm doing this for free. Understand? And then what do? I just go online. I become a star online while I'm working a 9-to-5 job. Understand? And what else do you want in life? I give you everything. I give it to you for free. How can you complain about this? Guess what? Either way, I understand either way that what you're doing every single day is focusing on a great career for yourself. But then if you want a family in the process, or as now you have a 9-to-5 job. Now you have a 9-to-5 job, you can have a family for yourself too, if you choose to do so. Or you can delay the family as well, and then get the money from the 9-to-5 job and get yourself real estate, so you never have to work a 9-to-5 job. And then guess what? You're free to travel the world single if you want for the rest of your life, and you never need a family from that point. You can do that road if you want, or you can get real estate and then go get yourself a family and say, hey, I already have all the money. I already have all the money. We never have to work a 9-to-5 job ever again. Or is that simple? Or is you've given the woman or man everything already. Understand? So every single day, focus on understanding that if you're single, you will succeed far more quickly than having a wife or spouse or kids with you. And so what you do now is realize that it's a journey, and it's a process of you becoming much more. Understand? So regardless of the situation, or as a 9-to-5 curve is a curve of something that works for you or against you. You have to make it work for you. You have to get into a field that you love to do. I get into psychology because this is psychology. I just go study 6 years because I'm studying this 6 years anyway. With or without the degree, I'll be studying psychology anyway. It's working for me. Do you get it? $90,000 in debt. Come on. I'll be $1 billion in debt to give you this information for free. You understand? I make the money back really quickly. How? I give you for free information. I become a star in the process of becoming in debt. And then if I die, I never die. But guess what? Or else I've given you all the money anyway. That $1 billion is already in the video. You understand? I've given you already in this video $1 billion. I've already gave you the repayments. You understand? I gave you the recapitalization of this video. Whereas now you never do repayments, you do recapitalization. I mean, it's the same thing, but in a in a better definite term. That's a much better word for it. You understand? Whereas now every single day, you never pay people, you invest in people. You are an investor, but if you understand now that the ultra rich and people who are very rich are never going to give you money unless you are somebody who understands something. Whereas now, if you work a 9-to-5 job and then you get a gig from somebody who wants to give you attention, you go for free. Because the free way means that you deserve it. You understand? You deserve free attention. You deserve business. You understand? You deserve to do your content for free. I mean, that's it. I mean, now, if they make you work a 9-to-5 job, you work a 9-to-5 job because that's how you gain a family. You get a family in a 9-to-5 job, but if you have no 9-to-5 job, I mean, how is a woman or man going to want you? I mean, how? I understand? But if you are somebody or else if you have no 9-to-5 job, but you have the money, I mean, they'll want you straight away. Or now, if you have no money on you, I mean, how is a woman or man going to want you? I mean, you have to understand that if they always have more money than you, first that means that you need to step up. You have to step up. You need more money than them. You have to convince them, hey, I have $10 billion. I mean, that guy that you're going for has $2 in his pocket. I mean, who's richer? I'm richer. I have $10 billion. I understand? I mean, that's the obvious reason to understand that it convinces people easily. First, now, if you have more money than other people, first, more people will come to you for everything that you ever want. So I understand either way that the next 6 years, I studied a master's degree. I do this content online for the next 6 years. I'll be 34 years of age by the time I'm a psychologist in terms of the PhD. But I'm already a psychologist. You understand? I'm already in qualification of everything I ever need. I never need to qualify myself, but the 9-to-5 jobs and the government wants you to qualify. Understand? Now, you have to qualify. You have to qualify. I mean, you get it? You have to qualify anyway. You have to qualify yourself. Understand? You have to qualify yourself regardless of them. And regardless of the certificate, you have to qualify yourself into what you want to do. Whereas now, the opportunity is that you go study something. Whereas now, I definitely never put my kids in the government schools today. I make my kids, I homeschool them, and then what happens is I put them straight into university. I mean, do you understand? But guess what? I mean, they are going to recapitalize on it, and they're going to give the money for it. I mean, do you understand? Because I want to teach them something. I want to understand that it's more, they have to teach themselves how to get to my level. I mean, what I do is I guide them with free information, and I give them the information that's the best information on how to live their life, but then they have to do it. Understand? So I make sure they do it. Understand? And that's my job. Understand? So making sure that you understand my job here is to guide you to a better way. But what you have to understand is people are much more going to listen to you if you have a master's degree than if you're receiving money from the government today. Understand? Russian, that's the way it is. Russian, now understand it's because that people who are working on a 9-to-5 job are actually people who are, let's say, in consideration of others who are doing much better than the government handout people. Understand? But I'm somebody who's doing much better than everybody. And why is that? Because I, myself, receive from the government, and here I am, giving you this nice, beautiful content. Understand? Because what do I have to do now? I have to understand that I never work a 9-to-5 job. I just go study the degree of mastery, and I just go do my work all day long. That's easy, isn't it? It's very easy to become a millionaire, to become a billionaire, and whatever you want to be, as long as you go and get whatever you need to do it. You understand? Now, for me, I have to understand that to become more now, I have to work a 9-to-5 job. I have to work a 9-to-5 job to work all my life in a way that I never work a 9-to-5 job. Or else now, if you want to get out of a 9-to-5 job, you have to work inside of a 9-to-5 job. I mean, you understand? I mean, guess what? I mean, life is never a 9-to-5 job. I mean, guess what? I mean, 9-to-5 is the limit. I mean, guess what? I'm never working a 9-to-5 job. I never consider my work a 9-to-5. I mean, yes, I go to a special location. I sit down with other people, and I do psychology. I do life coaching. I mean, where is the 9 to 5 job there? I mean, yes, the government is giving me $100,000 to sit with people to do my life coaching with them. I mean, where is the 9 to 5 job in that? Unfortunately, there's no 9 to 5 job there. You understand? Unfortunately, if you're a cleaner, I mean, now you're in trouble. I mean, never be a cleaner. I mean, guess what? I mean, if you're a cleaner, you be a cleaner in Jesus' name. And now, a cleaner in Jesus' name is somebody who's cleaning people out in terms of giving them knowledge to succeed. You understand? But physicality, you have to understand that it's much more about mindset work than anything today. You understand? So what you need to do is qualify yourself today and go work a 9 to 5 job so you can have a family today, so you can have more money for yourself. Because women or men rather be with somebody who has more plastic money than people who have less plastic money. I mean, you understand? Actually, it's just the case. Actually, it's just the way it is. Now, why did I fail with women before? Actually, it's because of my plastic money. Actually, it's because of I was the one that was never trying to get the plastic money. Actually, they were going for the guys that were getting the plastic money. I mean, that's how it is. You understand? Actually, now, I understand every single day that I was an individual who never wanted to better my health. And the women were going for men that look much sexier physically than I. You understand? I wish that's how it is. But now I did turn the tables on them. I understand? Because now they're chasing guys who are far worse than me. And even though they're more muscular than me, I mean, they're far worse in situation of life. Understand? I teach those women much more than those guys ever will. But now, they are stupid because they aren't aware about me. You understand? I mean, they have to make themselves aware about me. First, that's it. First, they have to do it. You understand? Because I never need them in my life. You understand? First, now, what's amazing is understand this now, that for the next 12 years, I have no kids. I have no kids for the next 12 years. I have no wife for the next 12 years because I'll be 40. I'll be 40 and then I can make kids. I can make a wife at that age. I can have everything I ever want. But life is a process. You understand? First, you have to understand that what's coming up now in terms of life is you're going to work a 9 to 5 job. And then guess what? Or else it's much better for you to understand that you must realize really quickly on, you must realize really quickly and early on that nobody else is going to give you money other than what you work for. You have to work for it. I mean, guess what? You have to work for life. You understand? You have to work for life. You have to be doing something. So you get some plastic money and then use it much better. Is how you do it. Right now, you never need to travel. You never need to travel until you get yourself into a better place. Right, that's it. You have to travel better with your communicational skills. So what's to come in your life right now is a future of 9 to 5 work. But it's never 9 to 5 for, it's never 9 to 5 work for you. You have to make it something 24/7. So all I'm doing really is, I understand that they are saying that it's a 9 to 5 work, but for me it's 24/7 work. I mean, for me it's just another business role that I just put myself into. I can just continue my work from that point, and that's that. I realize now, if you're around the crowd, you always be the crowd. I need you to be alone in the process of being in life. Rushing now, the crowd will never go your way. Rushing now, if you're more successful than the crowd, Rushing, yes, Rushing, they all come to you. But they come to you when they see more success from you, and that's it. Rushing now, if you just keep up with your nice people content online daily, and you work 24/7 on yourself, regardless of what's happening around the world, and regardless of the 9 to 5 job, you will then succeed to a point. You get the real estate, and then what happens from that point is you're free. You're free from that point, but you have to get the real estate information. You have to search up locations around Australia or around your local area and start there. You have to start from where you are from, because where you are from is where you succeed from. You understand? You succeed from your place. You succeed from where you are in life. Whereas now, for myself, I succeed everywhere. You understand? I make sure you understand that real estate, I can only do it in Australia. I can do it around the world. I can do it anywhere. You understand? But I have to get the information. You understand? Whereas now, anyway, I have to study all the time. But every single day, I'm focusing upon understanding that I have to help people. And then when I help people, I get around the community and help them. I say, hey, you're a social worker. I've done over 20,000 hours on videos on YouTube. Do you have a YouTube account? Understand? They have no YouTube account. I've done already 20,000 hours of social working on YouTube. I get to a 9-to-5 job, I say, hey, here's my business card. Guess what? I have a side hustle. I do something on the side as well. Understand? How much social working have you done? They say 5 years. Where's a YouTube account? They have no YouTube account. They have no videos. They have no courses about social working. They just say that they've been working on a 5 job to be doing social work. I've been doing 25,000 hours of social working on YouTube. Go and check out all my courses. Who's more successful? I'm more successful than the individual. Because why? I'm doing the courses. They have no courses. They have no portfolio. They have nothing to consider them as they have nothing to consider themselves as a social worker. Other than a qualification that says so. But my qualification is the 25,000 hours of videos I've done on YouTube. That's my proof. You understand? So I qualify myself like this. Nobody's going to do it for you. Yes, they're going to make you work a 9-to-5 job and to get a certificate to work a 9-to-5 job. But then do something on the side, like 25,000 or billion hours of videos doing your job on the side, because you have to have a passion. And then what you do with the passion is you make it your 9-to-5 job too. And then your 9-to-5 job, you make it always, that you're doing it always, regardless of what's happening. You're doing it 24/7 in you. You're making sure you understand that there is no 9-to-5 job in your life. Never make 9-to-5 job the goal. Never say that you're working a 9-to-5 job. You understand? You just say, I'm a psychologist. I'm this individual. I just work in daily life. I work in Sydney. I work all around the world. You say, I work everywhere in the world. I never just work in Sydney. I work in Sydney. I'm working here now. I'm working over here. I have a qualification. I did do my qualification online. I have everything. I came into this life doing this. You understand? And just relax. You just enjoy it. Never consider it a 9-to-5 job. Just go work it. You understand? Just go and work. And then what you do is realize that you have to go and build up your information and educate yourself. So university is the best way right now to get into debt, to get out of debt. Understand? Or it's the best way. But it's to get your qualification so you can make $100,000 a year. Understand? $90,000 to get the master's degree, but then you give it the money back in 2 years. You understand? Whereas it's very simple. $45,000 here and $45,000 here, and then in 2 years you have also $100,000 extra, and then guess what? Or else, let's go. You understand? Whereas that's how it is. But you have to be working, you have to be growing. But 2 years goes quickly. 6 years goes really quickly, I promise you. Life goes quick when you're growing, and life goes slow when you're growing as well. Understand? Every single day focus on understanding that now, since you see the full spectrum, once you get to the point of real estate, and you have real estate, and you have a family, and you have kids, and you have a life, and you're single as well, and you're traveling the world for free, that's a life. That's never retirement. You're never in retirement, mate. You never retire in this lifetime. What you do from that point is you go and travel the world with your family for free, because you have real estate that's giving the money to do so. You never work a 9-to-5 job again, but then you're still continuing your online presence. You're still doing these videos, but then you're using that cash flow that you get from the real estate to go make events around the world this time. And go to Serbia and go to countries everywhere. And then just, start delivering this content for free. And say, I have the money already. Show up in front of people's faces and say, hey, this is who I am. I have success. So you want to listen to me or not? You create that success for yourself. That's it. That's the next 72 years of my life and more. In a sense, no matter what, I realize that the next 6 years, I'm just really, really encouraging everybody to understand I'm always growing, regardless of what's happening now. Nothing can stop me. I have everything I ever want in this lifetime, because I have a plan. I have a goal setting. You understand? I can do it. I believe in myself. I believe in my I only. I understand every single day now that it's just that I give you the information on how to do so. And then the more information I give you, the better you are. The more doors I unlock you into. I unlock you into better doors. And then you open those doors yourself. I make sure you understand that I go through all the information of the world and processing it every time in Jesus Christ knowledge to make sure that you have what you deserve. Understand? So what I do is I can also do busking as well. I can do some busking while I'm doing hours now. I'm never doing a 9 to 5 job, but I'm doing busking here and there as well, while I'm doing everything as well, making sure every single day that I can go and find myself around anywhere in life. I mean, as long as I'm growing, I mean, that's the best way. Rush now, since I'm doing that, rush now, I have to make sure I'm alone. I have to make sure I'm always alone, because being alone helps me to deliver my content. Rush, being alone makes me in terms of life. I have to make sure I'm always making my eye only. Rush, your eye is a presence. I understand, although, that when you're planning your life in a camera or a video, you are going to be somebody eventually, because what happens is you just have all this success that you have mapped for yourself, and then guess what? I'm also making events around town, doing music production too. I'm a music production theorist. I do music production, you understand? But anything that's a theorist is also a doer, you understand? I do music production, I do comedy, I do some comedy shows around town, I do some life coaching events, but I have the plastic money to do so. I mean, how? I made sure that I went to university to get my master's degree, I went into psychology, I get the money, I get the real estate. I mean, boom. I mean, here we go. I mean, that's simple. I mean, it's that simple. But yes, it takes time to get there. I mean, it may take you 10 years, or it may take you 20 years to get to that point of freedom. You understand? But it's eventually going to happen. You understand? Or else that's all you have to do. I mean, would you rather work 20 years to become free, or work all your life to never be free? Or rather work 20 years to become free. You understand? Or else that's it. Or else you have to do something anyway. So focus upon understanding that you have to strategize your life around a better way. You have to understand that many people are really, let's say, going downhill today. And it's because they never want to get qualifications, and they never want to work themselves into qualifying themselves for something. And saying you have to qualify yourself for something. So qualify yourself for the best jobs out there. That is mindset work only. And that's communication work. So anything that's relationship work is also communications work, and anything that's counseling and mental health work is amazing work. I mean, go help people. I mean, in the sense of surround yourself around people that you can help all the time. I mean, go to Herbalife. I mean, go places where there's churches. I mean, go places where you can make events and make it for free. I mean, make these events for free. Whereas now, every single time you understand that whatever you want in life, you shall get, but you have to work for it. I'd rather you work a 9 to 5 job and make it free than having other people to give you money so that you can be free. Understand? Right now, why is that? Because that way you're going to have a better story for yourself to understand that if other people just give you money all your life and you're free, it's the best way. Or it's the best way when your parents or real estate that your parents have, I mean, they're just always giving you money, but you're just free to live life and you're growing. Or that's the best way. You never have to work a 9 to 5 job again in your life. You understand? But there's no such thing as a 9 to 5 job. You understand? I mean, you still have to work. I mean, growth is work. I mean, you're never working a 9 to 5 job. You're working to grow. You understand? You're working to make sure you can grow from it. Or that's it. You're going to a place of growth where you are in terms of life, where you're making all that plastic money is because you're growing, and never because of the people there, and never because of anything other than you. You are where you are because of you only, and never because of other people. Or now, if you have no kids, it's because you chose that. Or as what you have today is because you chose it. Or as if you've traveled to all those places you have, it's because of you. Or it's because of nobody else. I mean, in the sense of what you do daily is realize you have to be traveling. You have to be going and really living life to the fullest. But make sure you do your education online. You go do online education and realize it's very easy to do it. It's very easy to get a master's degree. It's very easy. But what you need to do is dedicate yourself into it and then just keep going. And then become somebody big in that situation, and that's it. Now, every single day, never limit yourself to a 9 to 5 job. I mean, make sure you're doing your work always. I mean, make sure you're always growing. I mean, never just grow 9 to 5 only. I mean, never be growing from 9 to 5 only. I mean, be growing all the time, is what I mean. And that's what I'm doing all the time. I'm making sure I'm always growing myself. But to find yourself in crowds from the past of where you grew up with, in terms of those people that you grew up with, they're always going to be jealous of you. You have to understand they're always jealous of you because you're so much smarter, you're so much better looking, you're so much more successful, you have more in your life, you understand, than they do. And they're going to be jealous of you. I mean, they never want you around. I mean, they never want anybody around. I mean, they want less successful people around them. You need more successful people around you. You understand? You need people who are more successful than you around you. So if you find anybody more successful than you have to go and see Jesus Christ is the most successful, and then understand either way. You go toward him, and then understand you go alone, because Jesus Christ is all you ever need in life to succeed. You understand? And then what you do every single day is focus upon coaching people daily and keep consistent online with what you're doing. And then every single day you're enjoying life. You understand? You're enjoying life. You're going everywhere for free. You're communicating your power. You're communicating into this world. You're making a dent in the universe, as Vishen Lakhiani says. But then guess what? You're just making sure you understand that it happens quickly. You have to be on the offense about information work. You have to be understanding that if you want to be someone great, and you want to be understanding every single day that you're going to make success happen. You have to make success happen in your life. You have to understand that every single day I have to be great communicational skills. I have to be understanding how to communicate with myself better and better and better to get the life of betterness. I have to get the better life. So I have to communicate better all the time to get that life story and to give you the life story of my life and how I grew up with and how did I grow up, so that you can see how exactly you can succeed. You understand? But it's much more clear for me right now, and my path is much more clearer now than ever before about how I need to succeed. You understand? Because I've been reading from mentors daily and daily and daily. But guess what now? I never need those mentors in my life again. I never need them. You understand? I have Jesus Christ. But what's amazing is if something tries to cut off my reading, I have my word I, because I understand I can lead with the word I, and I can go everywhere. I can always travel. You understand? But I teach you from daily experience. You understand? And then I make sure to read as well around the world, around what's happening, so that I can better maneuver myself around life. You understand? Because information is your guide. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm a life coach. I'm a guide. I'm helping guide you. But you are your own guru. You are your own teacher. I am never your teacher. I am my own teacher in terms of my I. Right now, I am a teacher of everything. You understand? I'm making sure that when the teacher appears, you, the student, is ready. Every single day, focus upon understanding that I'm always leading people. I'm always making sure that my life is prosperous, regardless of what's happening. But people are jealous of me, and I have to stay away from people. I mean, does that make sense? I mean, now, when I travel the world now with real estate. I mean, as soon as I get real estate is when I travel the world. You understand? But I understand that what's amazing now is I have plenty of time to travel. I have plenty of time to travel everywhere. I travel now specifically to build my name too, and never just to go other places. I make sure now that I'm traveling more while teaching other people along the way. So I'm booking events around the world, and I'm going to those places only where I book events. I go for a purpose bigger than just traveling. Understand? Because when you're just traveling life and you're never teaching other people, I mean, it's just for you then. You understand? But now, when it's just for you, now you're growing from it, but eventually you have to understand that you have to grow by traveling with other people to teach other people. But isn't that the best? But now, the best way to travel is teaching other people along the way. And that's what I'm doing online anyway. So that's why I can travel the world now while doing my online work every single day. And that's the power of now. But that's the power of everything. But that's the power of Jesus Christ, where Jesus Christ can travel everywhere now and do everything. You understand? Because everything is Jesus Christ. I mean, God said the world is good. I understand every single day. Focus on understanding that now, since we have internet, you can go everywhere and travel alone and be doing your work. But we have more opportunity today than ever before to be able to go and step up and be able to live life. You understand? So what you need to do is realize, I may be 28 years of age, but you have me for the next 72 years. I mean, isn't that a long time? I mean, 72 years, man. I mean, I'll be 100. I'll be 100 in 72 years time. But I still be doing these videos. I'm making more than 100 years of age. I'd be more in this lifetime. You understand? So what I do every single day for the next 72 years is I do 3-hour videos online for the next 72 years. I mean, this is what I mean, every day, consistently. I'm somebody big in this world. And how? I'm planting seeds. I'm planting seeds every single day with videos to teach you something. And then you go around sharing me around. You understand? Because if you don't, I mean, I never need you. I mean, somebody else will share me around. I mean, in a sense, so every single day, focus upon understanding that now I never need to speak to people online. I never need to speak to people online. I never need other people to subscribe to me. You understand? I never need you. I never need you to subscribe to me. But if you love my information, you can. I mean, in a sense, so what's amazing is focus upon understanding that now I just stay consistent with what I'm doing, but I have the life. I have the life right now. And now I understand that every single day that if you want to see somebody, you have to make sure that you go and get them. You understand? I mean, if you want to go and see somebody, you make sure you either give them the money to see you, or you go see them, because that's the best way. You understand? Now, if they just come see you, that's even better. You understand? I mean, they give the time and money to see you, that's even better, isn't it? Now, guess what? Now, when you are really traveling throughout life, you have to understand that you're going to be alone, but life is living alone. You're going to understand how to live alone. You're going to understand to get around people, so you never have to be alone. You understand? Now, you're always around people, so you're never alone, really. But I understand that how you grow up and how people leave you, and your parents will leave you eventually, and people will leave you, and people just go their own way, but you find yourself alone. But then you say, hey, I have other people around me. I have other people around me. I mean, I'm never really alone, am I? I'm just alone with other people. You understand? Now it's different, isn't it? But you're never really alone anymore. You're never alone in this lifetime. You may be alone and walking your life alone, but other people around you. So you have to connect with them to understand that you're never alone. You're never alone if you're connecting with other people. You understand? You are only ever alone when you're connecting with yourself. But I only connect with myself, and that's why I feel so alone. But that's how I grow. I grow by being alone. I grow by connecting with myself only. Understand? Because I never need other people to talk to. I mean, now, I may be an introvert like that, but I'm an extrovert too. I mean, I'm so much more into myself because I'm so alone that I go and do this video because I'm so alone. I'm introvert. I mean, where is everybody else? I mean, guess what? I'm doing this video anyway, but I'm an extrovert here. I'm an introvert, but I never talking to other people, but I'm talking to you who's watching me online. I mean, you get it? Because that's my new business. Whereas now, every single day, I make sure you understand that every time I do these videos, I'm an extrovert because I'm never talking to other people. I'm talking to myself over here before I even upload it online. And then I understand either way. I get myself some free Wi-Fi. I go travel the world. I go do what I need to do. But I never ever have to, again, travel through those hostels that I did because I've done it. But if you've never traveled, apparently, if you have never been traveling through hostels, you have to do it. You have to go and find out how it is. I understand? Because why do you just want to live in a jet way of life? I mean, go into economy a bit. I understand? I mean, if you live rich with the ultra rich and you're born in a rich family right away and they have a private jet and they take you everywhere with the private jet, I mean, why do you just want to be rich all the time? I mean, go homeless for one night too. I mean, go and see how it is to be homeless as well. I mean, go and see, for example, to experience life in ways that you never have that's going to be safer for you only. Understand? I mean, never put yourself in dangerous situations, but I understand that what's amazing is never try to do drugs and alcohol. You understand? Even if you're rich. You understand? But what's amazing is to understand that most people are born in terms of, let's say, a small percentage of people are born into a rich family. You understand? And what makes them rich is because of the information that they have. Why should they have a family of a dad or mum that has all this information, which is why they're rich? And now, guess what? Whereas the babies still have to learn that information. You understand? But you're never born poor. You're just born in life. I mean, there's no label other than making sure that you just come into the world and you're just enjoying. You understand? You're just doing you. I mean, if you're born into a poor family, I mean, it never means that you're poor. I mean, it just means that your family has poor information. I mean, that's never your fault. I mean, it's never your fault. I mean, guess what? You can make it your fault. You can say, hey, I have to do better because my family has poor information, so I make sure I never have poor information. I never have poor information. I go get my family the information. You go seek out the money. I mean, the money is in the information and never in the plastic money. I mean, you understand? So if you're working on a 9-to-5 job, you go get the information of the psychology or master's degree. Get the information. I mean, give money for it. You understand? You have to give money regardless. But what you do is there's plenty of self-help books that you can get today to help your life succeed. I'm a self-help guru. I help myself with everything because that's how you become a self-made billionaire. I'm a billionaire eventually in this lifetime. I'm a billionaire eventually. And now, how do I get to $1 billion? I get there by real estate. I get real estate. That's how. I get real estate. I get all the real estate I can to get there. That's it. Now, either way, or I start charging people. I start charging people to get there. You understand? That's all you have to do. But guess what? Or is that is how you do it. If you want to, if you have a money goal, you can go and create seminars around the world and charge people everywhere. Or you don't have to be a billionaire, but get it through real estate alone. Now, is it better? Now, it's better that you do that because that way you're going to be getting the cash flow but giving the free information to do so. And that free information is here forever for free anyway, regardless of whether or not you're here or not. Understand? Because after you are from this world in a better place, you're going to understand that your content is going to be here forever for free, regardless of you. Understand? But if somebody prices your work, you never care anymore. You gave the information. You're doing your work anyway. Understand? Guess what? Get your nice, beautiful multi-millions of dollars in nice, beautiful real estate because that's how you actually get everything you ever need. So if you look at Grant Cardone and his nice, beautiful real estate, that guy has the best real estate in the world. I promise you. Although the other people have even more real estate than him. Understand? But he's much more famous than them. Grant Cardone is much more famous than those people who have more real estate than he does. Now, Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone are doing more informational work in terms of life than any other individuals other than I. I'm doing much more informational work than all of them. So either way, eventually, over time, you guys are going to see that. You understand? Because the truth comes out. When I say so, that's what happens. But I understand either way that I'm living my life now. I'm the number one Serbian. I'm the number one Croatian. I'm the number one Australian who's the most successful. Understand? Wow. Isn't that beautiful? I'm the number one in the world about life coaching. There's nobody better than Daniel Milivojevic in life coaching. I promise you, eventually, you'll recognize that. You understand? You recognize the number one in the world. You understand every single day, you must, in your life, be number one. You must be number one. You find many number ones in life. You find many number twos in life as well. Anybody who's a number two is worse than yesterday, and anybody who's a number one is better than yesterday. I'm now at the peak of my life. I'm at the peak. I'm at the prime. I'm understanding really what prime is, but prime happens all the time. The prime of your life can be at 2 years of age. The prime of your life can be at 3 years of age, but the prime of your life is when you're better than yesterday, and that's it. The prime of your life never goes from 28 to 34. That's all bullshit that they're saying, that you only grow up to 29 and no more. That's bullshit. That's a limit. They're trying to limit you to never grow. You understand? They say how an eagle, they're saying that, they say to you that they may say to you that an eagle goes and eats only live food. They never eat dead food. It's all, guess what? An eagle, you have to understand that every single day, you focus on understanding that birds alone eat dead food and live food. You understand? But anything that's said is true. You understand? Although you have to get more information than that. You have to realize every single day, focus on understanding that no matter what you're doing, you're focusing on how you communicate daily. You have to focus with yourself. You have to have the best communication on the planet. Why am I doing it with a microphone? I love the microphone so much. Isn't that so simple? What's better? Do you understand me, guys, when I speak like this? There's a big difference, isn't there, when I'm talking like this? When I talk like this, there's a big difference as well. So when you understand how I speak with a microphone, I amplify my sound, don't I? So I want to be able to go and talk into your nice, beautiful ears much better. So I understand either way, I have a portable speaker for that. Do you understand? So this portable speaker is for my music production too. And it's also for my nice, beautiful technology in terms of pumping music and DJing anywhere at a party. I can do it. You understand? I can get my nice, beautiful DJ deck and pump the portable speaker on it. You understand? So either way, I'm always doing a busking performance. I'm doing a busking performance here and there as well, because I get a busking license to go in front of people and just to promote my name. You understand? Because that's fun to do so. But many people have no guts to do that. They have no guts to speak 2 hours in front of people every single day at a busking performance. I do that. I can do it. I mean, why? Because I have courage. I build the courage to do so. I mean, then so I start with the first video. I mean, you have to check out my first videos with busking performances and how I did start. I did do my first 17 videos, 3 hours a day for 17 days. I mean, that's a schedule. I mean, for the first 17 days of my life in Brisbane, while I was doing busking, 3 hours a day. I mean, 3 hours, I finished one day. I mean, let's just say I just did finish my busking performance of 3 hours. And guess what? I mean, I have always more to do, you understand? But what's amazing is I understand then, every single day for 17 days, I do 3 hours a day of busking on the street. I mean, and then I go to Sydney and I do 2 hours and 6 hours and 1 hour here and there. But I understand that no matter what, you have to go and perform. You have to be understanding now that no matter what's happening, that nobody else is going to create your success for you. Although I never need them to. I never need them to create your success. I never need you to understand anything other than yourself today. I need you to understand that you need to create your own success. You deserve it. You deserve your own success. I mean, do you agree? I mean, you have to understand every single day, focus on saying, I say yes. I mean, every single day, focus on understanding that you have to go and perform something in life. But I'm the most famous in the crowd that I grew up with. I'm the most famous. I have the most reputation. I mean, how? I have an online reputation already. I mean, they have no YouTube channels. I mean, they have no YouTube channels. I mean, they have no social media. You understand? I mean, guess what? I mean, some of them do have social media, but they're all private. I mean, some of them are public. But I have more content that I've done than them. I mean, that's why I'm the most reputable. I have the most reputation and status. Because I'm so successful. And they can see it over time, but I never want to go around them. Because they're all jealous of me. I mean, you understand? And now, if I go around them, I want to go around them to teach them only. Whereas now, if you want to go around other people of the past to teach them something, you can. You can do it. You can do it any time. I promise you, it's never a waste of your time. I promise you, it's never a waste of your time if you're teaching them. I mean, if you just want to go around bludging and talking to them without growing, Roshi, that's a conversation of no growth. Roshi, that's a waste of time. Roshi, if you want to have a conversation with people, you make sure you're growing with them only. Understand? So what you do is, if you want to talk to anybody while you grow, you have to understand that if you just communicate to them in a way you're growing, Roshi, it's value. You are the one creating value in your life. And understand that everybody is valuable only when you're growing. Understand? Roshi, I can go to anybody here today and grow with myself. Roshi, now it's value for me to talk to them. Roshi, if I understand that it's valuable for myself to be with myself to grow and with them to grow while whatever's happening. So what I do now is I understand that the only selling point is you. Roshi, the only selling point of your life is you growing. Roshi, now, do you understand how to talk to people online and offline? You only grow with them. You talk to them to grow with them. You never talk to them to have a conversation with them. You talk with them to grow with the conversation. You understand? Roshi, now, if you understand how to speak now much better, you have to understand now you can go around the world talking to anybody and grow with them. And that's it. Roshi, that's the only occasion that you can grow now. You can only grow now inside of yourself to understand that whatever you want, you can achieve it as long as you speak it. You have to speak all that. You have to understand it's really, really go and understand how to speak better, and then you can go and achieve everything you ever want. Roshi, now, if somebody comes into your room, you say hello, you start talking and say where are you from and learn something about them. Roshi, now, you can do that. Roshi, now, if you learn something about other people, you understand how it's valuable to do so. Roshi, isn't it valuable when I come and ask you questions about your story? I mean, of course it's valuable, isn't it? I mean, that's like everybody else. So if you approach other people asking about their story, you are the one that gets more popular. You're more popular in front of them. But if they come in and you never talk to them, Roshi, it's awkward silence. You understand? Roshi, now, awkward silence means focus on yourself and grow yourself then. Roshi, now, if it's awkward silence and you're never even growing yourself, then you're a drug addict, and then you're worse than yesterday. You understand? I'm very silent with other people because I want to grow myself. But now I'm very loud with other people because I go and grow them and I at the same time. I'm very loud, but I never waste my time because I never ever speak to die. I speak to grow only. I communicate with you to the point I need to. Understand? But then I say, hey, you have to understand that if you're growing other people and yourself at the same time, it's for your legacy regardless. Understand? because your legacy is made online, and it's also made with what you document every single day. But understand, I can only do these videos a certain amount of hours every single day. But once you do your video, you do your life coaching video, you do your music session, you do your Netflix, you do your journaling, you do your shower and grooming, you do your eating food and drink, and then you travel a bit somewhere, but then go and talk with other people without the camera and without the audio programs and without the journaling too. But grow with them. And do you get it? I mean, now you have the nice, beautiful, broad spectrum of life here. You understand? I mean, add other people into conversations where you never have to document that. You never have to document that, but you're going to grow with them. You're going to speak with them. You're going to find out about their story. I mean, that's more leadership, you understand? So what you're doing every single day is you're focusing on the broad spectrum now, much better. And then you're understanding every single day that it's only through life coaching videos that you can make your life. You can make your life happen right now. You have to understand, I'm outperforming all the people who are 28 today. I'm outperforming all the millennials today. I mean, I'm the only millennial today that has the most information ever done. I mean, do you understand? I mean, I have the most information. I have done the most information out of all the millennials today in the 21st century. I mean, there's no other millennials in the planet that can amount to Danny Milivojevic. I mean, there's only one millennial in life. I promise you, and it's the one that's done the most. You understand? I mean, I've done the most. You understand? Right now, guess what? I promise you, everybody's a millennial. It's just a name, but I'm just showing you I've done more than people my age. I mean, you understand? I'm the only one. I mean, there's nobody else. I mean, look in the next 72 years. I mean, look at how much content I can do. I mean, do you understand me? I mean, do you understand the long-term effects? I mean, I'm the only one doing it. Roshi, they finito. Roshi, they're gone. I mean, do you understand my language? I mean, do you capish? I mean, I understand that no matter what, I'm traveling everywhere, baby. I mean, you understand? I have the lifestyle. I have the jet flying. I have the wheeling dealing. I have the wheeling stealing. I mean, you understand? I understand Ric Flair. I understand every single day. I grew up watching wrestling. I grew up watching Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H and Undertaker and The Rock, in terms of Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Brock Lesnar and Goldberg and Stinger and Hulk Hogan. I mean, I grew up with these guys and Ric Flair. I understand? I mean, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. I mean, these individuals are all people of wrestling nature, but I understand either way, that's my childhood. I understand? That's my childhood. For every single day, focus upon understanding that if you go and just grow people today, and you go and dominate people, I mean, go and dominate everybody, and just talk to them. I mean, if you want something from them, you get it from them, but you give them how to do it. You have to make yourself unlock it from yourself. Or if you're having sex with people, it's because you're communicating that with them, and they're understanding you. But if they never understand how you do it, then they never will understand how to get with you. You have to communicate anything you ever want. But if you understand, if you delay gratification more and more, you're going to be better. Or is it now? If you go into gratification, you have to communicate yourself to delay gratification. Do you understand that? Or now, the more gratification you have, the worse you look physically. Do you understand that? Or now, the more gratification you have in life, the worse you look physically. So when you look at people who are very, let's say, physical in terms of look great physically, I promise you it's because they have a discipline to stay away from certain aspects while building muscle. Understand? That's the only difference. And the only difference why my muscles are so big like this is because I stay away from food and drink and most places of life to look this way. But then what I have to do is I have to do the physical aspects now. I have to start pumping the weights. I have to start exercising. I have to start looking my best in shape in terms of my physical range. So I have to start exercising to get to that point. Now, I've been delaying the exercise. I have. But why? So I can give you the life coaching, and so that I can go and experience life in traveling, and so that I can also map out my life for the next 72 years on how to do so. I'm planning it. I'm planning to do the muscle work. I'm planning to get my body in shape. You understand? But in the meantime, I want to be able to do my music production. I want to be able to do my life coaching, because my life coaching and my music production is much more important than my muscles. I mean, you get it? So it's just my values. I pick other values over my muscles. I mean, guess what? I mean, I understand. I understand that. I understand my skin, but I am never ashamed. I'm never in shame about I mean, look at my communicational skills, baby. I've been working on my communicational skills. I understand caveman people who have mass muscles. I eat protein, I do this, I do that. I understand how they talk, man. I understand that guy can never lead me in life. You understand? That guy can never lead me. Guess what? I'm open to listening, but guess what? I fall asleep before they even start talking. You understand? Guess what? Or is that? I'm never lazy. I can listen to them, but do you hear how they talk? Very gorilla type nature. Big man. Big man. You understand? Big lady. I eat banana. I understand you caveman people. I understand. Go and improve your communicational skills a bit. I understand that you have some discipline. Start talking the discipline much better. You understand? Now, there's a big difference. Although life is a journey. I went from small to bigger. You understand? I went from small dreams into bigger dreams. I went from better than yesterday to worse than yesterday to better than yesterday in my life. You understand? I've been worse than yesterday. I've been worse off than everybody. You understand? I've seen that lifestyle. I see it's a fake lifestyle. Worse than yesterday people are living a fake life. They're living around people who worse than yesterday people are living around people who hate them. You understand? They believe it's love or something. They're joking themselves. You understand? So what I have to do every single day is focus on understanding that just 3 years ago, I went out of my nice beautiful biological dad's house and I said, hey, I'm just going to go around the block and just start running and start losing this weight and start educating myself on how to do so. And then I lost 47 kilos. Just educating myself how to do so. Understand? But the physical aspects are going to go away very soon. Understand? Those big muscles you have are going to go away very soon. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger at 21 and Arnold Schwarzenegger at 71. I'm very sure two different people. Of course, the 21-year age Arnold Schwarzenegger looks much more physical and much more sexier. You understand? I promise you. Why? Because he's just looking younger. You understand? That's how it is. But what you have to realize is every single day that time will pass, and then what you do is realize that every single day are focusing on understanding that if you want to give a live performance somewhere, you can. You can, but guess what? You just do you every single day. You focus on living your life to the fullest. You focus on making sure you're educating yourself all the time. You just make sure you're always doing something that you love to do. I love to do life coaching and music production in front of people and comedy in front of people only. Why? Because it's so fun for me. But to sing in front of people, actually, that's never my deal. Actually, it's never my deal to sing in front of people. Why? I just love to sing in front of myself, but I can do it online, for example. I can always do it everywhere. But I understand that singing in front of people is so boring. Actually, it's so boring to sing in front of people. You're always singing the same lyrics. It's so boring. When you're acting, you're saying nothing in particular. It's so boring. In front of people when you're acting, actually, it's so boring. I promise you, I can see it. Actually, acting is so boring in front of people when you're doing it. Actually, acting with yourself and learning how to act is something great. Actually, if you learn how to act with yourself, actually, then you go online and do it online. Actually, you can do it. Actually, you can do it. But to do it in front of people, make sure you understand that it's documenting at least. Actually, now it's worth it. Whereas now, if somebody is documenting you singing in front of people and acting in front of people and you're live on camera, actually now it's worth actually singing in front of people here and there. You can do it because other people are doing videos and photos of you and sharing you around. So you can say so. Actually now that is worth it. But to sing and to act alone in front of people, actually that's bullshit. Understand? Actually now, if I just go acting in front of people without documentary of me, and I just say anything, it's all bullshit. Understand? If I go in front of people to sing in front of people without people documenting me, and without being on video camera, it's all bullshit. It's so fake. But if you do a video of me singing, it's good. It's good. But if there's no video of me singing, and I just sing in the same words all the time, and acting and saying, "You stupid idiots, you understand who I am?" That's all bullshit. Understand? Or that's all bullshit. I understand it's an act, but it's all bullshit. Do you get it? Whereas now, if you're doing that on video, it's worth it. I mean, that's now something that you can do. You can now go and do whatever you want, but do it on video camera, and do it on photos, and do it in photos, and do it live performance, but make sure people are recording you and give them the money. And that's it. Whereas now, they are never going to do it for you for free. But I'm doing this for free. I mean, that's why I'm more successful than them. I'm more successful than everybody else because I'm doing it for free. Yeah. I'm doing my music production for free. I'm doing all my talents for free. You understand? And then I make free events around the world because I can do it. I'm more successful like that. You understand? So I just skip charging people. I never have to charge people. You understand? Whereas now, every single day, they charge me. I never have to charge you, man. I mean, you want to charge me $5,000 to do one video like this for me. I give you 3 hours of content for free. I mean, you never want to exchange your service with me. You want $5,000, though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what makes you so valuable to do a video for me like this? I can do it myself. I mean, you just lost a customer. I mean, you want to charge me $5,000 to do a video hit for me. I give a kid on the street $100 and I get my video hit. I mean, you understand? I mean, you and your stupid job. I mean, guess what? I mean, you have to understand that every single day, that when you go and really, really focus upon you, you just make sure that you're never stupid. Understand? I see many stupid people on the planet. I mean, they're charging all this amount of money to people who can never afford it. Understand? But I understand that everybody can afford it. I promise you that nobody is stupid. I promise you. Now, you must understand every single day, focus upon understanding that when I say something, I go back on it sometimes. But I understand it's really, I'm making a point here. Understand? I'm just making a point. I promise you, although, that every single day, you do your work, you focus on life. I mean, how long have I been doing this video? I mean, you can see that. You can see I'm passionate about what I do. You can see I'm giving you ideas. You can see I'm enjoying my life here. But I understand it's a work in progress. Understand? I understand it's a long term I'm doing this. I understand because I'm so passionate about it, I can do it long term. I understand although that many women today go for material positions. I mean, they go for people who are worse than yesterday. And they're unaware of it. They're totally unaware because they are also worse than yesterday. It's just that kind of deal. Understand? So worse than yesterday people go for those people who are even more worse than yesterday, who have far bigger legacies in that area, who are nobodies. Understand? Now, you have to understand that. But people who are better than yesterday are going for people who are better than yesterday, who are in the spotlight and who are the famous ones. Understand? So which spectrum do you want to find yourself in? I mean, do you want to find yourself at the bottom of hell, famous? Or do you want to find yourself at the top of success, famous? I mean, understand? So anything in between is for people who are anything in between only. I mean, anything in between is middle class. You understand? Whereas the bottom end is poverty. Whereas the top end is successful and rich. You understand? So I just want you to be successful and rich and ultra rich. And I want you to travel around the world and do you. And if 1 kid's more enough, I mean, 2 kids is more enough, I mean, 3 kids is more enough. I mean, guess what? You are more than enough. You understand? I promise you every single day focus on understanding that if you just go and communicate more and more, I promise you have the greatest lifestyle. I promise you I have so much communicational skills to give you that people are calling me everywhere. I mean, they're calling me everywhere. I mean, why? I have all the plastic money in the world. I have all the real estate in the world. I have all the family in the world. I have all the education in the world. I have everything in the world. I promise you that's why. I understand. And how do I have that? I own it. I learn it. I go and seek out the information. Or that's it. I put myself on video. I put myself in images. I put myself in busking performances. I'm doing busking performances. I'm traveling the world alone. I'm going without parents. I'm going without biological family. I'm going without kids for the next 12 years to succeed. You never see that unless I tell you. You understand? Now, I delay sex with other people so that I can have more money, so that I can travel places and so that I can live my life. I mean, you understand? I mean, guess what, Ross? If you have $1,000, but you want a threesome with a woman or man, or 2 women or a man, but they want $500 each, but you have $1,000. I mean, are you going to give it to them, or are you going to use that $1,000 to get to Spain instead? I mean, what's better? I mean, is a threesome worth it, or Spain? I mean, what would you rather choose? I'd rather go Spain. I'd rather see Spain. Understand? So you have to trade, as John C. Maxwell says. You have to trade time. So just recently, I chose to get away from Port Stephens and this place of hiking there to Sydney. I chose to get away from this part of Port Stephens and Newcastle to get myself a nice beautiful software with a synth inside of my music production, and also to get to Port Macquarie. I swapped 2 aspects for another 2 aspects. Understand? I have to. I mean, it's one way or another. Understand? I can afford anything. I have to choose one way. Understand? You have to trade. You have to trade yourself into greatness. You have to trade time. Now, if individuals here have 100,000 people to come see me, and they give me $1 billion to come do the performance, and another individual has 10 people but give me no money, I'd rather go to the $1 billion one who have 100,000 people, because they give me more value. So go where it's more value. You get it? Isn't that simple? Now, if you go around the world traveling and charging people as well, and you have real estate, you can totally charge people. I mean, they have nothing to say against you, and you never care about them either. You never care about them. You never care about if they're going to give you money or not, because you have the money already. Now, that's when you can charge people. You can charge people only when you never care about them and their money. Understand? Now, of course, you're pitching them here, but then again, you have a great legacy anyway. You have a great legacy regardless of them. I mean, now you can use money leverage here. You can actually do it. You can actually charge people at your events. You can charge them at your doors. You can charge them at your events, and you can sell courses if you want. I mean, you are the one that's richer in the process. You understand? I mean, if you choose to do so, you can. But you're giving the information for free anyway, in the long term. And you have a great legacy in the long term. And now it's all in your favor. Understand? I mean, now you're the full spectrum of a rich individual, because you're traveling the world, charging for your seminars, and it's $100 or $1,000 per seat as well. You understand? I mean, it's $1,000 per seat. And now, do you care about these people? You do care, but they never care for you. I mean, they never care for you. Understand? But you make them really care for you to give you $1,000, because that's how they give you some value. I mean, they give you value through giving plastic money. You understand? And that's it. Now, if you want other people to care for you, you make them give you plastic money. Is that simple? That's simple, yeah? Now, for me to charge people now, there's no need for me to charge people now. But when I get to the 9-to-5 job and I start doing seminars around town, there's no need for me to charge people at that point. Why? Because I already have money. I have money at the 9-to-5 job. But when I get my real estate and I make big seminars around the world, that's when I charge people. I can charge people at this point. Now it's worth it. It's worth me charging people. Now that's it. I just call up and I make an event, and that's it. Now, if I do it for free, it's even better. It's even better, because I have the money anyway. Now, when you have the money anyway, I make it for free. I mean, make free events for free, even though you have the money. I mean, understand? Because now people will come into your event for free, and then guess what happens? You're just a greater legacy. You have more people at your events as well. Understand? So that's the thing. Understand? So if you can get to that point, it's even better. Now, you have the money already. So, why you want to charge people when you have the money? Go build attention now. Just go around the world building attention, because you have the money already. Understand? And now you're famous. You're famous at this point when you're doing it for free, and you're around the world traveling, and you're doing everything for free. And you have the money. That's it. You're successful. That's everything. Understand? So now that's the full spectrum of life. So when you're just really enjoying your life now, just be making sure you understand, I plan all this on video. I promise you everything in terms of this, I was unaware of it before I gave this video. Understand? Guess what? I'm honest. But I understand some information I have been giving you that I have done already, but I understand the way I give it to you in the video this time. Every single day, focus on understanding that if you're writing a journal and you write something down, go and give it on the video too, so that people can learn in a video. So that people can see you doing it on a video too, in a section where you're growing. Understand? So every single day, focus on understanding that now I have even a better life, because I can see my life ahead. I can see how to plan. I can see everything in terms of what I need. But I understand every single day that when you get the real estate and you have all the money in the world, you understand what to do. You go for it. I mean, if you can afford it, you go for it. You have all the money, you can go for it now. That's it. I mean, go and enjoy. I mean, just make sure you can afford it. I mean, that's it. I mean, go and travel. You have to travel. But if you're traveling, just make sure you're traveling while teaching people. And that's what I do online anyway. So make life work for you is how it goes. Understand? Now make them work for you. Understand? I mean, guess what? Whereas now, if you want employees, you never need employees. You never need other people to be an employee for you. Understand? But what you need is to understand that many people are trying to charge people and also have employees and charge them, and they're giving them money to make them money. And they're also using real estate, and that's it. I mean, they're investing their money into stock market as well, and trying to get this income as well from the stock market, and investing into places and businesses to get some money in return. Russia does that. Russia, it's all percentage. I mean, they give $1 million or whatever, they get a certain percentage. You understand? So what you do is realize every single day that if you want to do anything much greater, you focus on your life, you focus on success, and you make your success because nobody else is going to make your success. You understand? I am going to give you as much information as possible. I mean, that's the least I can do. You understand? Russia, now, every single day I focus on trying to do more than that. You understand? Russia, now, this, I understand, is going to help you. So I understand either way that I'm much more in it to do better for myself. So I understand either way that you have no time for that cafe today. You have no time for anything other than your business that's growing you today. I mean, guess what? I mean, you have to understand that if you have your own cafe, shop, or restaurant, you have to understand that you have to be growing really quickly. You have to understand that eventually that restaurant has to fall apart. Your cafe eventually has to fall apart. You have to sell the business. You have to sell your local business. I promise you, you can never have a local business today. I mean, I have an international business. I mean, this is an international business. I mean, this is a public speaking business, but if you want to go Toastmasters and grow there, you can do it. You can do it if you want to grow there. If you want to go anywhere today and just grow from it, you can go. I mean, you can go anywhere you want. Jesus tells you to. If you want to go to ISIS people and terrorists and grow them and you, I mean, go there. You'll never be afraid of their guns, and you'll never be afraid of the terrorist bombs out there. I mean, if you want to go to tsunami places and tornado places to grow, you go for it. And you can go right away. I mean, if you want to jump in a volcano and grow, you can go. I mean, you can do whatever you want, as long as you're growing. Understand? But if you're never willing to grow, I mean, then you never deserve it. Understand? Rosh, that's how simple it is. Rosh, if you want to go anywhere around the world, but you want to grow, you can do it. But if you want to go around the world and never grow, you can never do it. You can do it though. Rosh, I can do it. Rosh, anybody can do it. But you have to understand how to grow. And to grow is communicational skills. I keep telling you. But it's how you do it. Understand? I understand Gregory Manarino is always like that. But I understand either way. I'm never copying other people. Rosh, I'm never fake. I'm just showing you that I'm telling you the truth. Understand? Rosh, now, every single day, focus upon understanding that what you need today is a better attitude. And then you can understand a better attitude is a better work ethic. I mean, a better attitude is better habits. I mean, better habits mean priceless life. Understand? I mean, a better attitude means priceless lifestyles. You have to have a priceless lifestyle for yourself. You have to understand if you want the most beautiful woman in the planet or anything in terms of whatever you want, you have to grow with that. I mean, if you want the most beautiful man and woman with you, you have to go and grow with them. You have to go to them first and grow them. And that's it. You have to show them that you love them. Through growth, you have to just message them over and over again and just grow with them then. I mean, just make sure you're helping them in some kind of way, and that's that. Or you have to grow that friendship. You have to grow the relationship. Or you can get the most beautiful woman in the world or the most beautiful men in the world if you just go to them to grow them. You understand? I realize you can go where drunk people are, but just make sure you're growing them. I mean, that's it. I mean, they may be jealous of you, but guess what? I mean, they will never appreciate you. I promise you, they will never appreciate you. But as long as you grow, you have fun in the process. You understand? And that's what I want for you. I want you to understand that. I want you to understand if you want anything in the world, you can just go there and grow them. You understand? Or if you want to convince people of anything, you have to grow with that individual. You have to understand it's more about giving than it is getting from them. Or now, if you're trying to convince people, you have to grow with them. You have to grow yourself with them. You have to understand to grow your technique of persuading them quickly through your communicational skills to convince them of you through growth alone. Understand? So if they say, why would they have to do that? You have to understand to find a reason why they must do it. You must say whatever it is that's going to help you grow in that situation to convince them. You understand? Because that's a persuasion technique. I mean, if you understand sales, what you're selling is growing. So if you're selling yourself, you're growing yourself. And the best way to sell yourself is better communicational talk. And that's it. That's all the books in the world that you ever need. Understand? As long as you can grow your communication, you never need another book in the planet. Understand? As long as you can go and grow yourself, you never need other people anymore. You can just take the lead now. You understand? All you have to do now is go and get yourself more ideas anyway and start reading. You understand? You have to read anyway. I have to read this. I have to read what I'm doing to be able to do this. So I realize you have to read. But guess what? You have to do something. You have to be going and growing and talking to everybody today. And grow with it. If you're willing to grow everywhere, go now and grow everywhere now. If you want to be in the same spot all your life but grow, you can do it. You have the best time. Growth means no suffering. Understand? Ego means no suffering. Understand? But now, if you never suffer, you also have the ego through growing as well. I have an ego, but my ego grows only. I make my ego grow for me in terms of my I. I make sure you understand that. I make sure you understand that I make sure you understand that whatever's happening with the egotistical mind and all this, it's all bullshit. Do you understand? And it's bullshit to the extent that you have to understand it much better. Now, if you understand it much better, you have to go into it, and then you have to say, it's either you have communicational skills or not. What do? You have to understand it's more that those people who are more egotistical have less communicational skills than those people who have better communicational skills. We're talking here about communicational skills. There's no such thing as ego that's going to come after you. Understand? But there is such thing as ego that's going to come after you in terms of they have less communicational skills and they're unaware of what they're doing. Understand? They're less spiritual. Anything that's less spiritual is more egotistical in this nature, that they have poor communicational skills. But anything that has better communicational skills has no ego. Understand? But that's how we see it that way. Or we can say as well that anybody who has poor communicational skills has less ego. But anything that has better communicational skills has more ego. So this is another way to say it. Understand? But guess what? Never be confusing yourself about the ego anymore. The Buddha said that no ego means no suffering. Understand? So if you have no suffering, you have to grow. That's it. Or I just have to connect the dots here. Understand? Now, every single day, if you delay gratification, you have better communicational skills. Understand? But if you go for gratification only, you have poor communicational skills. Understand? That's what it is. Now, every single day, focus on understanding that more people who have poor communicational skills, more people who have more communicational skills today are the ones who are delaying gratification, while poor people who have poor communicational skills are the ones going for gratification hits everywhere. Understand? So never get yourself into gratification, but delay gratification as much as you can so that you can go and have higher work ethic and look better as well, because gratification destroys you in terms of your mindset and everything. But as long as you can communicate much more, you can then do gratification all you like. Understand? Because you can control yourself. Understand? And guess what? Or is that those people who have poor communicational skills but do gratification lose control totally. Understand? Because they have no discipline. Understand? But if you understand, I stay away from alcohol and drugs. Totally. I never need it. And that's why I have better communicational skills, such as this video and more. I'm doing much more than everybody else. Understand? So I'm always understanding that no matter what happens, you're going to go through phases. You're going to go through Australia. You're going to go through the world, traveling through hostels sometimes at first. And then you're going to move up into motels eventually. And then you're going to go up and level. And you're going to move into hotels eventually. And then guess what? You're just going to travel into hotels, and that's it. You're going to give $5,000 per hotel and per night because you can afford it. You understand? So either way, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. But just enjoy your life and just make sure you have a greater mindset.